$1.25. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Well, look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with dark screen. Hold on a minute. Where's Pete? Pete is gone. He's disappeared. They've censored him. Now we have a little cowabunga going on here, but I'm sure Pete Davis is around, and it's Flounder at the controls.
The day I was born.
And do we have is Lord Brian in there? I can't got the darkness going.
Yes, he is.
Okie dokie. It's
Hello.
It's still radio. There he is. Oh, I knew it. We have a thing going because of the modern technology that was so wonderful for America. So anyway, we're all together and in a certain way, and broadcasting on Hump Day, which is actually more like a Thursday because we're off on Fridays because of the. And by the way, a guy made a good point a minute ago, which I'll get into in a second. First of all, Pete Davis in the total darkness at the moment, but I think when Mike, our crack head engineer comes back, he'll wire us back up again. But what's new in the mountains of Macon, sir, other than the total darkness?
Absolutely perfect day. A little breeze blowing, about 80 degrees. The sun's out, white clouds. The turtle's staring at me from the side of the house. I mean, it's a lovely day.
I saw the bunny rabbit a little while ago. You got a little bunny out there, I think. So.
Yeah, he gave me the side eye. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Ho, hey, ha, ho. You know why that is, right? Because he's a prey animal. Just like horses are prey animals. They're scaredy cats, so they need eyes on the side of the head to see what's going on all around them. Like birds and rabbits and, most birds, although not hawks. You notice that eagles and hawks have eyes in the front because they need targets. They have really good vision. And that's why hawks and eagles and things do not have eyes in the side.
We have a birdicide on our hands, too. The little nest I had in the back, there were three little baby birds in it a week ago. Now there's only 2.
Oh, no. You don't suppose like a rat got him or something, huh?
Maybe it was the runt, and they quit feeding it or pushed it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even look at wildlife of things anymore. Like what's the name? The British guy does all the wildlife, and now the kangaroo becomes entrapped. Attenborough. And I used to watch all those, and now I just can't watch. A lion eating a giraffe or something. I don't know. I just
hold on to its neck.
I got him. Oh no! All right, well, no, I can't even think about it. It makes me sad to think. The last one I saw was it was like a mother and her babies. She was like a gopher or something. It was a mother and little babies, and so to protect her babies, the mother stopped and let the cougar eat her, so the babies could go back in the hole. I mean, God. Anyway, and just for that, in fact, I'm going to start the day off in a few minutes with a good animal story, a really fun, good animal story. Do our hearts good. So there you go. All right, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and Lord Brian's in the back. Here's the number: 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Always love your phone calls. It's a guy. I really love this idea, and I think we've talked about this in the past, but not often enough. And I don't think most people pay attention to it about what's coming up on Friday. A few minutes ago, in case you just joined us at 3 o'clock, a few minutes ago, a guy called to say it's really unusual, and it's important to point out that the only holiday in America that is called by the date is the 4th of July, and which, in my opinion, may be one of the most important days in the history of mankind, by the way. But
Juneteenth?
Well, that's not that's a made-up thing. It's like, but again, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Easter. No other holiday or important day is called by the, we're celebrating December 25th coming up here this week. No other holiday ever has a date in it except the 4th of July, probably the most important one. Well, other than birth of Jesus, maybe they're saying. But still, I mean, it really is important. It's not we're not celebrating the 4th of July. We're celebrating Independence Day. And the point was well taken. And of course, it's hard to do because it's easier to say, what are you doing on the 4th? Instead of what are you doing on the Independence Day when we first proposed a possibility, So anyway, just to make a point. Okay, well, I'm done. That's all I got. No.
I tell you the truth, that to me is a little nitpicky. It's the 4th of July. Everybody knows what the 4th of July is. Come on.
I know. I'm just saying. He made the point that when people say it, I'm not sure that they, if we were to say celebrating our independence, but again, nobody teaches that anyway, so why should families be different these days? So, screw it.
You say Memorial Day, and a lot of people can't tell you what Memorial Day is for, and the damn name of it is right there.
Well, I know, but same with Veterans Day. I mean, but still, anyway, whatever. Okay. 404-741-1230. By the way, I think tomorrow we're going to have Shannon Burke join us. At 5 o'clock?
Shannon will be back starting tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Outstanding. And again, in fact, I've seen some stuff on my Facebook page pops up as a Facebook friend, and he was just doing a big Harley motorcycle ride, and he's now, apparently Man Country Radio is expanding, and they're getting more links or stations or something. I don't know. I guess they're having a great time down there.
He's doing well.
Yeah, outstanding. So he'll be joining us tomorrow live at 5 o'clock. While he's still on the air,
yes,
he's still doing that.
Yep,
we're double broadcasting.
We'll be broadcasting
just like we used to do.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
Now, Neil Borsch, of course, is going to be...
he should be on tomorrow as well.
Oh, really?
Moving forward, I'll figure out a better day. That way we can break it up. Because
well, normally Neil's on Friday, so that's not a big deal. But tomorrow,
Thursday, yeah, that's correct.
So that normally Neil's on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, but he'll be on Thursday at 4, and then Shannon at 5. Oh my God, this is going to be great! I may come in around 2:45.
You should,
yeah, really.
Yeah, that'll be the
prep
day.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to be up at 5:23. I'm going to be listening to the morning show, our repeat of that, and then the morning show, just like always. Let's see, boom. Oh, a rather bizarre thing, and then I want to do my happy animal story. Oh, and I've got kind of a bar bet unusual thing in history for you, too, coming up later on. I just heard on the news, I think it was on the news, or I read it, I can't remember. I think I saw it on Fox this morning. They're getting 2 new Buc-ee's restaurants, and I think there are 2 new ones coming in Georgia, and they made a point of saying, it was on Fox News, it was such a big deal that now apparently we're going to be getting the biggest Buc-ee's in Georgia will be in Brunswick, and they went out of their way to say that it's going to have 120 gas pumps. 120? Holy crap! I mean, if you want 100 cars pulling in to get gas, and wow, holy moly, it's got to be enormous. Anyway, they're building a Buc-ee's in Brunswick, 120 gas pumps.
Brunswick, that's interesting because that's a major thoroughfare from Charleston,
Truckers,
Savannah, down to Jacksonville in Florida.
But Lordy,
75 or 85.
I don't know. It's bizarre. Anyway, all right. Well, how's Lord Brian back there? Everything okay? Everything okay with your thumbs up? And
I just want to say about that Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
It's I-95 in Brunswick, so it makes sense for 120 gas pumps.
Yeah, well, that's trucker territory right there.
Oh, yeah, for
that's
sure.
The main line, yeah. Cool, excellent. And again, I've never actually been in a Buc-ee's.
What?
I'm sorry.
You're
overrated. It's overrated.
It is not.
You're supposed to go to the bathroom if you're going to see a Buc-ee's.
They have
go to the
great
bathroom.
food, but again, a lot of the times it's so crowded. Sometimes you can't find a gas pump there. You have to wait, and you can be fit there for 15, 20 minutes before you can pump gas.
Yeah. I hear
and bathrooms.
Yeah, you're supposed to go in the bathroom.
And their barbecue sandwich is really good.
Roman Coliseum or something.
Yes, they're wonderful.
I think
banana pudding.
They have a whole banana pudding. They have a line of T-shirts say "I tingled at Buc-ee's." I think it was kind of one of their special.
They have a soda fountain that stretches along a wall that you can mix and match anything you've ever wanted.
Oh Lordy,
it's amazing.
There we go. It's
what
stupid.
Are you doing?
No, it's just sneeze. I'm coughing and sneeze, mock-bending and stuff like that. So that's all. It's all good. Now, a happy story, and a little doggy named Chili, the Chihuahua. The story starts with 2 people named Gabby and Gianni, 27-year-old couple, live in Manhattan. They were taking their little doggy, Chili the Chihuahua, out for a double date with another doggy, a golden retriever, and some friends in the West Village in New York. Chili, the little chihuahua, did not want to leave his flaxen-haired four-legged friend, so Chili wriggled out of his harness and bolted for one last goodbye kiss with his golden retriever friend, but instead ran into traffic. He got bumped by a car. Another car bonked at him, slammed on the brakes, and Chili got so scared and spooked, he took off. The couple said they ran after him, but he's so fast he disappeared. They looked and looked and looked. They spent 10 hours a day for days. They took time off from work, days off from work, canvassing the West Side Highway, plastering every pole and street sign and window with lost dog posters. She said I was screaming his name in the streets. It was really sad because it got to the point we didn't know whether we were going in circles, didn't know where to go or what to do. They put everything on a series of social media posts and got some leads. One tipster said, gee, I think I saw him at Pier 40 the night he disappeared, down by the pier, the Hudson River. Security cameras also caught sight of the little teeny dog that night, but then he vanished. The couple's grief was intensified by prank callers when they left their number. Oh, we've eaten Chili. He was really good. Others would just bark into the line. The girl says, man, those calls would make our hearts stop. We only had him for 6 months, but he's made such a positive impact on our lives, and now he was gone. They kept looking and looking. And then suddenly a guy called, and he said, I'm a kayaker, and I found your dog in the river. They said, oh, this is another practical joke. And then he showed him a picture of their beloved Chili covered in motor oil and skinny as a rail. The dog was found 200 feet offshore, more than the length of an Olympic swimming pool, by the kayaker enjoying the sights around Pier 26 on the Hudson River. He said there was a huge pile of trash floating in the water. Within this pile of trash, there was something bobbing up and down. He said it was a dog. I started screaming, there's a dog in the water. Immediately, I recognized him, the dog I saw in the flyers all over the place. He said, I couldn't believe it. I started screaming for other kayakers. Let's help this dog get out of all this trash floating in the water. They raced toward Chili in their kayaks, shouted for other kayaks to help get him out of there. He said it was literally the most devastating, sad thing I ever saw. The best way I can explain it, it was kind of morbid. You know, like the scene from Titanic where Rose is letting go of Jack and he's drifting under the water. That was what was going on. The dog clearly didn't know how to swim or tread water, and he couldn't get his head up out of the water, so it was just completely submerged 10 inches under the water. The currents were so strong. The dog was so frightened. It took 4 kayakers to finally yank him into the boat and take him to shore. They rushed him to a vet center. They ruled he was healthy, but very malnourished, dehydrated, had probably not eaten much of anything in 10 days that he was missing. 10 days. God knows how long he was on that trash floating in the Hudson River. He was so soaked with motor oil, they had to cut off half his fur. The family believes maybe he was hunkered under a pier, and somehow was taken out to sea. There are also holes in kind of the fencing of the pier edge that are a little dangerous for kids, can fall through and stuff. Anyway, they're calling this the second miracle on the Hudson after Captain Sully Sullenberger made that landing of the Airbus back in 2009, and little Chili is back home, and they now have gotten little Chili a much more secure and much tighter little doggy walk-around vest. So all is well. What a story. A kayaker sees a little head popping up. 316, Kevin P. Flounder and Lord Brian.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on XTRA 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
Well, I'm going to be on that chopper again over the holiday coming up. And again, the last time I almost got hit again twice. People on a motorcycle, you know what to do. But if you have a problem with it, whether it's a motorcycle or a car, or someone did something to you and you need to be taken care of for it, David Van Sant, the guy to call, Van Sant Law. David Van Sant is a personal injury lawyer specializing in things like, well, I've been hit a couple of times here, but luckily didn't have an insurance problem. But if I did, I'd be going to him, not the insurance company's lawyers. I don't want to talk to those guys. They have little charts and tables, and I don't know anything about that, but David does. If you have suffered something and you need to be compensated for it, David Van Sant's guy. He used to work for the insurance companies, and they know that, and they know how good he is. David's on the trial top 100 trial lawyers list in Georgia, and David is also, since 2014, on the Georgia Super Lawyers list. That is a big-time Charlie deal. Insurance is complicated. Other lawyers are complicated. Let David take care of it for you. And remember, if you don't win, he doesn't win. You are number one. Here's that number, David Van Sant. 855-GA-INJURY. Online, vansantlaw.com.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well, because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Running a business is tough. Juggling clients, employees, cash flow. Why worry about IT? iTech Atlanta can keep your systems running securely and smoothly so you can focus on your business, minimize downtime, and protect against cyber threats, all at a predictable, fixed, low monthly cost. For 25 years, iTech Atlanta has been helping businesses just like yours. We'd love to manage your IT on time and under budget. To learn more, visit iTechAtlanta.com. We manage your IT so you can manage your business.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
Are you ready to give your home a fresh new look for the summer? Blinds.com has you covered with their 4th of July mega sale going on right now. Whether you're a DIY warrior or prefer the full white glove treatment or maybe something in between, Blinds.com makes it easy with no pushy salespeople in your home or big showroom markup. Tanya and I love their design experts who help us make the perfect selection on our schedule. Plus, they can even handle everything from measure to install. Style every room effortlessly with Blinds.com. Classic shutters for living spaces to motorized options for total convenience. And don't forget the outdoor shades as well. With over 25 million windows covered and 40,000 five-star reviews, it's no surprise that Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window treatments. Plus, every order is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't miss Blinds.com's spectacular 4th of July mega sale. It's happening right now. Save up to 50%. Plus, get free professional measure. Hurry before the holiday deals are all gone. Up to 50% off for a limited time at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is on now. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Peggy Sue, then you know why I feel blue without Peggy. My Peggy Sue.
If I'm not mistaken, there used to be a little joke about this, that we should flip Peggy Sue over and play all day.
Peggy Sue.
Because the other side of this record is his Buddy Holly song called All Day, I think. And that's, if I'm not mistaken, or some, I was like 7 when that came out. 2015, though, Buddy Holly's widow, Marie Elena Holly, announced she had entrusted the publishing rights to her husband's influential catalog to the artist performance rights group BMG. That company now has the authorization to administer royalties to nearly all of Buddy Holly's recordings. including Peggy Sue and all the rest of them. Phone calls take priority with the Kimber Pete Flounder and Laura Bryan. It's Barbara. Hey, Barbara, you're on the radio. How's it going?
Fine, Tammy. How are you?
Well, we're fine. What's up, sweetie?
This is your cleaning lady.
Well, I was lamenting the other fact. My place is, I don't vacuum. My vacuum doesn't work, so I don't vacuum. The floors are a wreck. The hardwood floors in just one level, but they're a wreck. They need to be washed or whatever you do with them. And, the vacuuming and dusting. I mean, it's just, the place is a freaking wreck. And it's also cluttered because I got things everywhere because the storage unit's got, $900 a day for those stupid things and those big orange stupid things. So I stopped using those stupid things. So anyway, it's just cluttered and messy and now do you are you just a person who said hell I'll do it? I mean, do you know what you're doing? Do you have equipment vacuum?
That's fine for you. My goodness.
Well, I'm sorry.
That sounds like a wreck where you're living.
Okay, I missed part of that. My hearing aids are not working. I'm sorry. Say again, please.
I said I felt sorry for you.
Yes, I do. That's why I say most things.
And I know how guys are. I know they're just pigs. So, and I have a nap.
I'm having a hell of a time trying to understand.
She's breaking
her.
up, so she'll have to call back.
Yeah, Barbara, I'm sorry. I just can't understand words you're coming out of your mouth. I'm sorry. Do I think I'm an actor? Anyway, I may still have her number. I think I have her number because I didn't want to throw it away, and maybe, but I don't know. Is she, how do I know she's not an assassin for the FBI director, Christopher Wray or something? I'd put a hit team on me. I don't know. It's possible. But did Mike hasn't come back at all? Yes, you're not doing anything, or because I can't see.
That's not the priority for him.
Of course.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. So why should he? He's got.
I mean,
Well, no. He's got a ball game to run. No, it's good. That's fine. I don't care. If I hear him, I know he's there. Otherwise, it's a little disconcerting. Let's see. Our birthday list includes that naughty Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie, 35 years old. Barbie, and of course Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad movies. I didn't see any of those. Was that Barbara Streisand's husband or one of those guys?
No.
I can't. What Suicide Squad? I think I saw
James
the
Brolin hasn't
that's
done
the guy.
anything in
James
40
Brolin.
years.
Isn't that James Brolin's Barbara Streisand's guy? Oh, well, who am I thinking? I don't know. Anyway, Margot Robbie's
His son, Josh Brolin, has been in everything.
That might have been it. Something like that. That's possible. And this is an important historical day, too, by the way. In 1976, on this day, the Continental Congress passed a resolution with these words, quote, "These united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states." The Second Continental Congress, assembled in Philadelphia, adopts Richard Henry Lee's resolution for independence. The vote was unanimous, but New York abstained. Originally, the resolution was presented earlier in June, but New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, a few other states said we want to wait. We're probably going to vote for a break with England, but we're kind of nervous about what our people want us to do, so they kind of delayed it. Then they had the resolution July 1st. Congress had a draft committee to make a formal declaration. The members of that formal committee, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, Robert Livingston of New York, and Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson, known as the best writer, was selected to be the primary author of the document. Presented in late June, Congress thought it was of utmost importance that it be unanimously proclaimed. So they delayed the final vote until July 2nd, when 12 colonial delegations voted in favor of it. The New York delegates abstained, unsure how their constituents would wish them to vote. John Adams wrote, July 2nd would be celebrated as the most memorable speech epoch period in the history of America. Instead, July 2nd has been largely forgotten in favor of July 4th, when Jefferson edited Declaration of Independence was officially adopted. But it was July 2nd that led him to actually have the thing done. And it was on this day when they actually made the formal proclamation. Let's see, 3:27 almost. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Holy cow. Okay, now let me ask you this. This Brian Kohlberger guy has pleaded guilty. He's never going to get out of prison. He can't appeal and he can't change, and he'll never get a parole. Slaughtered those 4 Idaho college students, and he had to admit that he did it, but they didn't make him admit what happened, what the motive was, how he did it. I mean, I know the family wouldn't have not wanted to hear that, but it seems to me that he just, I don't know, that's wrong. There's some other people say he should have gotten the death penalty, there's a bunch of lawyers who are now saying it was kind of a weak case. They knew we were going to get him for something, but it was a little bit weak, even though they had some blood evidence on the sheath of his freaking Marine Corps K-bar, the knife. And they didn't go for the death. They didn't say, I can't believe they didn't say, screw this. We've already, we've been doing this for months already, and we're not going to take any plea deals because we have the evidence to do it. I can't believe it. And all he had to say was, yes, Your Honor, when he said, did you kill Madison Mogan, and a human being? He said, yes. Did you kill all 4 of you? Yes, I did. He said yes. And that was it. And in fact, somebody's making a point that he repeated a cold reply. He'll serve 4 consecutive life sentences, and he'll never appeal. But he doesn't have to explain why he did it, why he targeted him, how he did it, how he pulled it off, anything. And now, as a family, I wouldn't want to know how he plunged the knife into my daughter or something. But still, it seems to me that there ought to be. I don't know. It's left hanging, too much hanging in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know. Pete, what do you think?
Well, I haven't followed it that closely, to tell you the truth. I mean, there's 4 beautiful young people that just got killed by just a stone-cold killer.
Yeah. What possible motive? He was studying criminal justice, and even his professor said she hoped she didn't turn him into a killer by telling him all about grisly crime stuff in class in college. But I don't know. But still, just the whole thing is freaky.
It's proof there's evil in this world, and you gotta keep your head on the swivel. You don't know where. That's Idaho. Yeah, I know. You're not even safe there.
Yeah, I know. And by the real quickly, the P. Diddy, Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs trial, he got away with the big ones, the racketeering and sex trafficking, but he got convicted on some basically prostitution charges. He could get 10 years in prison, but he's been in for a while. I'll bet you he's going to get like 2 years and possible time served. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but I did when they announced the verdict, they had the verdicts, and then they finally announced they had all the verdicts in, including 3 not guilty and 2 guilty of the lesser charges. And the people, as soon as he had the verdict, I saw the live coverage of Fox, and all these guys, all of a sudden, all of his so-called supporters started getting all the TV news cameras around, and they're all doing selfies, screaming and yelling and riding up the crowd. So all the news cameras are showing all the people reacting to the Diddy crowd. They're all just trying to get on TV. Who are these people? They're just gangbangers who are out there with their selfies going, "He was innocent. It's a time of the film with this so-and-so," and they're going screaming and yelling, and all the TV reporters are getting all the video and covering it live, and I'm thinking, you idiots. Just people want to be on TV reacting to it. Like P. Diddy. Anyway, by the way, 50 Cent says P. Diddy got away with it. He's the gay John Gotti. I think he'd be thrilled to hear that. Anyway, it's 3:30 already. Killer P. Flounder. Braves try again tonight. We'll see what's going on 106.3 or something. Look out.
Did you miss Neil Bortz?
I am shocked.
Don't worry. He's live anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, that radio show.
Did traffic cause you to miss some of the Kimmer Show? Get it on the app.
It's all the kids talk about on Monday at school.
With anytime show replays from the Kimmer, Bortz, The Morning Extra, Clay and Buck, and so much more. Plus local headlines and breaking news. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Hey, don't forget, if you're going to be going away for the summer, Atlanta Safe House is a place to call to take care of your private stuff. And especially, don't forget gun safes. If you're a new gun owner and your family's maybe a little nervous about it, particularly if you have a pistol safe is a great idea. Now, Atlanta Safe House has no sales tax. You don't pay any sales tax on gun safes at Atlanta Safe House. And they've got them all. They've got all the top brands, Browning, Fort Knox, American Security. Again, no sales tax on gun safes. And they're going to arrange them any way inside for nooks and crannies and stuff like that. But don't forget other things, like I learned the hard way about not having my medical records when I went down to Florida. Didn't have a safe down there. Atlanta Safe House, by the way, up here with my gun safes, can bolt them to the inside of the safe under your concrete floor, the basement or garage or whatever. It's incredible. And by the way, there's always rebates and deals and sales of some kind. And if you're up near the showroom in Acworth on Industrial Boulevard, they have almost 200 of them right there. They can fix your safe. They can rent you a safe if you got a convention coming up or you're away for the summer. They really take care of business. Jeff and Mark, the whole family thing, protecting your rights and your stuff. On the web, atlantasafehouse.com.
It's that time of year again. Chuck, the owner of Central Heating and Air Conditioning, is bringing back the 5th annual Christmas in July benefiting Skyland Trail, a nonprofit leading the way in mental health wellness right here in Atlanta. Skyland Trail provides expert, evidence-based treatment to help people facing mental health challenges find a path to recovery. Central Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to support this mission. As one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta, Central knows what it means to give back. Here's how you can help. Just sign up for a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and $10 from every new agreement will go directly to Skyland Trail, providing life-changing mental health care for adults and teenagers. Central services all makes and models, and with them, you're never just a number, you're part of the family. Call 770-GET-HEAT or visit centralheat.com to sign up and help Central Heating and Air Conditioning give back. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Kevin McAlpin here alongside Evan Ward, host of North Georgia's Retirement Game Plan, heard right here on XTRA 106.3. And Evan, many Americans think having a well-funded 401k means they will have a comfortable retirement. But the question I have is that really all we need?
Kevin, that's a great question. The way the analogy I use is it's like having a really, really good play in your game. But a good play isn't a game plan. That'll work once. It's limited. What we want is a plan, a game plan throughout the entire course of your retirement that we know is set you up for success. 401ks are a great savings tool, but they're not a plan. They're a play. And so what we do is we put together an income plan as well as an investment plan to make sure that you are taking the stress out of your retirement. You've worked too long, too hard. You've made all the right decisions, sacrificed to get to this point. You've got it down to the 1 yard line. Now you need a game plan to finish it off, and that's what we provide.
And let's be honest, we stress for 30, 40 years in the workforce. That's the last thing you want to have to deal with when you get to retirement, right?
Of course, the whole point, our philosophy is let's take the stress out of retirement so that you know this new phase of your life is going to be the thing you've been working so long to enjoy.
That's the last thing you want when it comes to your retirement is stress. If it sounds like you, pick up the phone, call Evan and the team at Atlas Retirement today for a complimentary 401k X-ray. That number is 678-736-7799. 678-736-7799. Or get more details anytime online. It's atlasretirement.net. That's atlasretirement.net. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
The Morning Extra starts our day with the news and headlines you need most on XTRA 106.3 FM.
You think about removing 10 million people out of this country, your rent and the cost of living will go down, and your wages will go up.
Fewer people to do the work means an opportunity to increase wages. Fewer people to take up housing means that housing prices go down. It's supply and demand.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. every weekday morning on XTRA 106.3 FM and the XTRA app.
All right, then. Kipper feeding flounder. How you doing? Lord Bryan's in the back there. Learning and being educated every day. It's an incredible story. In fact, I'm waiting for his first paper at a graduate school about the experience he had that summer with the carrot feed and flounder. It's an incredible story. I know what that was. This Joy Division, is that the...
Correct.
I know, I've heard the name. He's not really much of a singer. It's kind of a chanter of some kind. Anyway, 2008, somebody stole their Joy Division frontman's gravestone. Ian Curtis was his name. He was dead. Former frontman for Joy Division. Cheshire police said the memorial was taken from the cemetery. They were appealing for anybody to come forward with the whereabouts. The stone had the inscription, Ian Curtis, 18580, and the words, "Love will tear us apart." Love will tear us apart. All right, sir. Well, yeah, so I'll be damned.
That's probably the biggest hit they had. It's a song.
Oh, I think it was written about me, and it's a incredible story. And now, Pete Davis, we can see Pete Davis, our crackhead engineer, Mike, has come through with a visual sign of life in the mountains of Macon. And Grover, the blue puppet cookie man, the monster, is in.
No, you got his name right.
I got it. I was clearly an error by mistake. Because as you know, I've named things that just could be flying out of anything. It's just an incredible story. But let's see. Our birthday list includes Jerry Hall. Jerry Hall, now, okay, it says here, Jerry Hall, 69. She used to kiss Mick Jagger's lips anytime she wanted. Now, see, the guy who writes these things is just a little creepy. Anyway, Jerry Hall, happy birthday. There you go. And on this day in history, we mentioned this was the day when we said these colonies are of right to be independent states. That was in 1776. On this day in 2021, one of the most disgraceful events in the history of American military events was a withdrawal from Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. We vacated the field, the Air Force Base north of Kabul, gave it to the Afghan forces, the most ridiculous, horrible disaster in American military history because of that scummy slimebag administration of President Cadaver Autopen, the pervert, the child molester, the slimy dirtbag who ought to spend the rest of his dirty, miserable life in prison. Hell, he groomed his son into a bagman for the crime family that ran the country behind the scenes, taking money from foreign countries, and that's why he pardoned his whole stinking family, because they were all crooked and they all got the money. Anyway, the Soviet Union used to use Bagram for Air Force aircraft hangars. It was the epicenter of the U.S. occupation after September 11 of 2001. Afghan officials were ticked off with the transition to Afghan military operations. They accused America of secretly leaving the base overnight without telling anybody they're leaving for the new commander. It left the facilities unguarded, open to scavenging and looting. Intelligence publicly predicted the Afghan government would fall to Taliban within 2 years. I mean, this whole thing was a freaking disaster. Taliban seized the capital. President fled. 100,000 residents evacuated. Resumed full power. And of course, we left all our gear there. And then President Slimebag, again, please, anybody you talk to ever the rest of your life, and they say, oh, that Joe Biden, boy, what a shame. The poor old man just, tried to be the grandfather. He's a criminal. He's a traitor to his country. He should be I hope he lives 20 more years. And I hope they're all spent in federal prison, in solitary.
Ain't gonna happen.
God, yeah, they're all going to get away with it. Every stinking member of the family. And by the way, just because they got pardoned doesn't mean they can't testify under oath. All it means is they can't be arrested and charged with a crime. It doesn't mean you can't subpoena them to answer questions about where the money went. Bring your freaking tax records and mommy and daddy and granddaughter and everybody else who got the freaking money from Uncle Ceausescu in Romania, for God's sake. Hunter Biden got $3 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. How do you explain that, Hunter? Put him under oath and have him tell the truth. And if he doesn't answer the questions, even though you give him a complete immunity, therefore he has no reason not to answer the questions. And if he doesn't answer the questions, he's held in contempt of court or contempt of Congress. And that's a federal freaking crime. And put them all on. Get the granddaughter in there. And get that freaking wife in there. That wife. The enabler, the puppet queen, the cuckold queen. My God, it just makes me freaking steam. On the anniversary of the Afghan withdrawal. 2021, because he wanted to have it done by July 4th because he pledged to do it before the anniversary of 9/11. And he did this withdrawal without any possible experience and knowing what the hell they were doing. Remember the visuals of those thousands of people trying to climb onto an airplane leaving the ground. flying off the airplane when they're going up, it's unbelievable. You didn't need to do it that way. And the dead Americans, what was it, 11 Marines and a sailor and a soldier blown up?
Well, obviously, a lot of them have never heard the George Carlin bit about when they say get on the plane, you actually get in the plane.
Yeah, not the
get
hanging.
on the plane.
Yeah. I mean, just appalling. God, good Lord. Oh, and by the way, the P. Diddy trial thing, when they announced that he got away with most of the charges, honestly, if you didn't see the visual, I mean, it's hysterical. There are these guys just start screaming at the reporters, so all the reporters get all their cameras over there. We got a reaction to the P. Diddy trial. The guy's, he's flailing his arms and he's pointing and stuff like that. They're all like he must be somebody special. He was just a guy looking for attention. And then they all started squirting each other with baby oil. I'm not making this up. The New York Post has pictures of that one part of the story alone, that they were actually celebrating by spraying each other with baby oil.
I'm telling you, if I'm that Cassie girl or anybody who testified against him, I'm on the first cab out of Manhattan.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, and didn't she get $20 million from him? I think she sued, and she got $20 million from him and $10 million from the hotel where all these things happened and stuff. Or one of his girlfriends. I'm sorry, I didn't really cover and pay attention to the people in the trial, other than he was on trial. But now, what do you think about the punishment? He's guilty of 2 of the lesser, like prostitution charges. He's been in jail for 10 months.
He could face 10 years.
He could get 10 years. I don't think that's ever going. I'll bet the judge gives him 2 years. 2-3 years, and maybe credit for time served, so he'll serve another 8 months in prison and get out.
Can he leave the country?
He may not even get bail. The question right now is whether he should get bail. So first of all, before official sentencing, so he has a question of whether he gets out for bail, and then what the sentence might be. For a charge of prostitution, and again, he's a slimy, dirty, just creepy.
His reputation has been completely shot. But then again, there's people like OJ are just going to love him no matter what he does.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, they're spraying baby oil. They're celebrating. Yeah, believe me, he'll never buy another drink. He'll never have to do anything but have people wait on him. I mean,
the best. The New York Post headline: Diddy gets off.
Diddy gets off. Yeah, it was like, what was the one on the New York mayor, the former governor of New York, that Babylon Bee did? Cuomo groping to find an answer why he lost, or something like that, which is fairly bizarre. Oh, anyway. And by the way, the big beautiful bill, that slimy suspected child molester Chuck freaking Schumer is just shown what a greasy little dirt spot he is. He didn't like the name Big Beautiful Bill, so he actually pulled a parliamentary maneuver to make sure that name was not on the document.
These parliamentary maneuvers by Democrats, they're not in power.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. And they did it with the judges. Hundreds of those, finally the Supreme Court is basically knocking out. Yeah.
Well, what if somebody decided that's not in power, not in the party in power, decided, you know what, I'm going to name that Hitler's best boy bill.
Yeah, right.
Would they be able to do that?
I don't know.
How screwed up is that? Is that part of the government?
I know.
The Senate. How screwed up is the Senate right now?
And by the way, they know all those little tricks, but they don't know how to get a freaking bill done to help the American people when we're counting on them. It was just slimy little nitpicking little. The guys like when you're in second grade, they would pull a girl's hair and blame somebody else for it. Just snotty little.
So a lot of them are lawyers, and a lot of people that you probably knew your whole life that basically you wouldn't go have a beer with.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's 3:45 already. Holy cow. 3:46 actually.
No offense to most lawyers.
No. Well, no. We got one. I got one good buddy right in my phone right here. In case I'm driving or walking around. It could happen.
Not paying with a broad brush.
No. Be a little careful there, mister. It's 106.3 or something. Braves are back in action today. Well, good luck.
Are they? Are they really?
Well, not really. No, they're not.
Not last night they weren't.
No. Great pitching too. What a shame. God, man.
Oh, by the way, more bad news.
Oh, oh God. All right. Well, all right. Oh no.
Yes.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. And at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this definition. Convenience is our middle name. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for those services. And once the services have been complete, we'll bring your Mercedes-Benz back to you. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2025 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. And we're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor at RBM of Atlanta for details. Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
He's flying. He's body surfing. But unintended, apparently, Axl Rose. Oh, my. Kind of hard to hear the words, but you're yelling. 1991. Our buddy Axl Rose caused a riot during a Guns N' Roses gig after Axl Rose leaped into the crowd to remove a camera from a guy at Riverfront Amphitheater in Maryland Heights. 50 people were hurt in the riot, and 15 fans were arrested after Axl leaped into the crowd. Well, hell, it was his crowd. How is that unexpected, by the way? Anyway, Kimber Pete Flounder and Lord Bryan's in the back there. Our birthday list includes Saul Rubinek. You may not know the name. You may remember the character if you watched Unforgiven, the movie, the Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman movie, among others. Saul Rubinek is 77. He was the guy who played the biographer with the books W.W. Beauchamp.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, well, who's the first one you killed? He said, well, I know who the last one is I'm going to kill. He scooted out the door and stuff like that. Remember that? I still have that on my what do you call it, my movie library thing there. Anyway, Saul Rubinek, 77 years old. Mr. Bo. He was also Artie on Warehouse 13. I don't know what that is, but you might.
Science fiction show.
Ah, there you go. And Oh, I remember this story, too. In fact, the other day, I think it was yesterday. What's today? Wednesday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. We mentioned that the first, I think it was Monday, the first Corvette came off the assembly line, Chevy Corvette in 1953, I believe, or 54, 53, I think. And on today's day in history, in 1992, the 1 millionth Chevy Corvette rolls off the assembly line in Bowling Green, Kentucky. 1992, the 1 millionth Corvette. And then, from 1992, then it went to a museum. And in 2014, the sinkhole and the museum sank all the Corvettes. And I remember seeing the video down in the pit and all
So
crumbled up
sad.
and everything. But they restored it to its former glory. They got them all back, including the 1 millionth one that was let go in 1992. There you go. Now, the freaking Schumer, unbelievable, on the big, beautiful bill, and they're still talking about it. And by the way, in fact, I heard Jesse Nighttime last night driving home. He made the point that when the Senate passed their version of the big, beautiful bill when they sent it to the House, the Senate version, the House version went to the Senate, and the Senate passed something like a 60% cut in the Green New Scam. The Biden administration, President Otto Penn, the child molester, the Green New Deal, the Green New Scam, all those billions of dollars for electric stations, stuff like that. And at 60%, it should have been 100%, but 60% of the Green New Scam was cut out of the bill. By the time the Senate got done with it, they only cut 30%. So among the compromises to get people to go along with this bill, they only cut 30% out of those billions of dollars of waste for the Green New Scam deal from Biden's administration, President Otto Penn. Yeah, I mean, God knows what's going to be in the final thing. They're chopping this and that, and they got the state taxes in high state tax states like New York and California are going to change I mean, it's just, I don't know what's going to be left.
And who can you blame for a lot of this?
Republicans.
The Georgia Republican Party.
Exactly. And basically, Republicans anyway. I mean, they keep defecting because they think they know so much more. They'd rather have their name go down in history of the man who refused to cave in as opposed to caring for their freaking country.
How about in a red state getting two candidates that can beat who the hell's John Ossoff?
Yeah. He's a trust fund baby.
So-called preacher. How can you not beat either one of those guys like a drone?
It's outrageous. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, what's our turnout? 40% in Georgia. What was our last turnout for the election? Again, it's if you don't have a candidate that makes us want to go to the polls and vote to make sure we put them in there, people are too lazy, and it's just we can scream and yell all we want, but I'm telling you, there are too many distractions. There's too much stuff going on. There's too many social media things. Everybody's worried about freaking TikTok and being doxxed. I mean, it's.
I actually waited in line when I voted this year. This is the longest I've waited in a line in a while, which is fine. That's great.
Yeah,
I would have neighbors, and
I would have had to, but because I'm so old, I get to go to the front of the line.
well, I brought the average age of the room to just under deceased. So when I was in
the deceased line. And then they want to help you get to the. No, I can do it. I can walk over there, man. It's not.
Come here, son.
Oh yeah, let go. Oh my God. 3:55. Flounder, let's play this goofball girl, Susan Power. Remember the name Susan Power? Was it Putty Tab where she was like Secretary of State spokesman?
She, I think, has Atlanta ties too. This is one of the most dangerous and evil women.
She's a professional liar. She is a wordsmith. She's really good at what she does, and she tells lies as good as anybody from the Democrat Party's ever told.
Wasn't she at the United Nations? And she used a position to dox or investigate American citizens.
Yes, I believe
illegally?
that is true. Susan,
wasn't that something?
Yeah. And when Marco Rubio says we're getting rid of the U.S. Aid program, International Development Program, on CNN, here's Susan Power, used to represent all the Democrats, and now she still does in one way or another. And here's what she said about the end of all this graft that was going on. We finally dodged out of the place here with Doge. Here we go.
So far, what he has done in the name of efficiency is cut this life-saving programming. And as the Lancet study shows, it does not just a retrospective on the lives that have been saved, it also warns that 12 million lives will be lost, 2/3 of whom are kids under the age of 5, if these cuts continue.
Yeah, sure. Actually, the Lancet estimates made it 14 million. They're saying that because of the cuts of U.S. aid, like the puppet shows for Indonesia and they make sure you get tranny rights in Africa, all those programs for millions and millions of dollars. And they're saying that because Rubio and America cut the U.S. aid program, 14 million people are going to die.
Wasn't the Lancet one of these worldwide medical publications that were saying how many people would die if you didn't get the vaccine?
That's right. Yeah. And, global warming and it's the Al Gore people. Yeah. By the way, Al Gore's worth what, $300 million now or something, I think? It's kind of an unusual thing. Anyway, by the way, we got a lot of girls stuff coming up right after 4 o'clock news update. We got a wife discovering her husband's phone messages. Also, why some women think, depending on the jewelry, that's why they can't get a date. Also, who should pay for dates anyway? We got like 3 good chick things
come
coming
on,
up.
you know that. You're a Southern gentleman, you know who pays.
Well, you better know. $3.50. Little Flounder's funny back there.
Any holiday is great in the neighborhood apps. You got July 4th is unbelievable. Everybody's like, what about the dogs? The dogs. And I've been alive for a long. I never remembered the dogs thing until a couple years ago. The dogs were fine with fireworks my whole life, and then now they're like they need emotional support too. And I'm like, what? Dude, somebody said our dogs no fireworks because our dogs are scared of loud noises. Somebody logged on 14 seconds later and said, "Good thing our troops weren't scared of loud noises when they were fighting for your freedom." It's fun. I'll be liking posts, thumbs up, you know what I'm saying, on either side. I just, Somebody posted a meme on July 5th, true story, and said, "Keep your animals and children quiet. Some of us have been up all night shooting off fireworks."
That's pretty wild. Who's that there, Flower?
John Christ.
Oh, John Chris, who we have, who's a very wise fellow. Brian Kohlberger says he's guilty, doesn't have to tell how he did it. P. Diddy got convicted on 2 out of the 5 charges. He got away with the big ones like racketeering. And again, I never understood how they make the racketeering charge, and he got caught with prostitution, which I'm even surprised at that. What he did was had parties, and he said he paid the girls who were professional hookers to come and be part of the party, and they took the money, and they weren't coerced, they were paid. And so, but anyway, so he's going to be convicted of at least those 2. And we'll see about jail time. I don't know. He's been in jail for 10 months. Anyway, we got all this stuff. Coming up, girl stuff. Making love, the best way with dating and who pays. And we got all this stuff. Tim Repeat, Plot. I got it.
W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Atlanta Safe House.
He admits everything in court. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The man charged in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students pleads guilty.
Our reporters and producers in the courtroom saw members of the victims' families wipe away tears as for the very first time, Brian Kohlberger admitted publicly that he did indeed brutally stab to death those 4 young students on the night of November 13, 2022.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt at the courthouse in Boise. 2 victims' families have been critical of the plea deal, but attorney Leander James read a statement from Maddie Mogan's family supporting it.
While we know there are some who do not support it, we ask that they respect our belief that this is the best outcome possible for the victims, their families, and the state of Idaho.
Under the plea deal, Kohlberger avoids the death penalty and faces life in prison. Sentencing set for July 23rd. 1 hour from now, a bail decision is expected for Sean Diddy Combs after a jury acquitted him of the most serious charges in his federal sex trafficking trial, convicting him only on 2 prostitution-related counts. He could still face years in prison, the defense arguing he should be released. In the meantime, a holding pattern in the U.S. House as Republicans try to rally enough support to advance a tax cut and spending plan to a final vote.
We're waiting for the House of Representatives to get to this test vote. That would let the House of Representatives begin to debate the big, beautiful bill. But if you can't even get to the test vote, you certainly can't even get to the debate. And that's where they are right now. They're kind of stuck in a parliamentary cryogenic freeze. They're on this other pre-test vote.
Fox's Chad Pergram on the Hill. Several Republicans with concerns about the bill have been meeting at the White House with the president and other officials. Another mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow down 10 points at the bell. America's listening to Fox News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
My daughter was a deadhead, Jennifer, the contact. Back when she was using drugs, cocaine and heroin. God bless her, she's been clean for 20 years. 1980, Bob Weir and Mickey Hart from the Grateful Dead were arrested on suspicion of starting a riot at the San Diego Sports Arena when they tried to interfere in a drug bust. Guys, that's fairly obvious if you're trying to stop the police from arresting your dealer. I don't know. Anyway, it was many years later that people realized when they stopped using drugs, oh, God, that's what the band sounded like. Anyway, birthdays today include Lucy Baines Johnson, LBJ's daughter, 78 years old today. And in fact, I just realized I'm in honor of LBJ's daughter. How about, hold on, now I can't find it. Here we go. On this day was 1964. U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson signs into law the historic Civil Rights Act in a nationally televised ceremony at the White House. In 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, Montgomery boycott buses, 1955 with Rosa Parks, I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King, 1963. In 1963, John Kennedy said we want a new civil rights bill, platform of his campaign, but then he got assassinated. So LBJ, as vice president, then president, and Equal Employment Opportunity Commission people said we'll take care of that. Heated debate in the Senate before getting approved, and as I recall, 60% of the Democrats voted against the Civil Rights Act because it would give freedom to their former slaves. One of the first pens he signed went to Martin Luther King. Gave one to Hubert Humphrey and Everett Dirksen, the leaders of the Senate. Sweeping civil rights legislation, the most sweeping civil rights laws since the Civil War Reconstruction Act. Anyway, the Voting Rights Act came in 1965, protecting all people's right to vote. Anyway, Kimmer Pete and Flounder, how's it going? 405, our number 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Let's do girls. Can we do girl stuff for a second here? This is kind of bizarre. I'm kind of in a holiday mood because we have. I swear. There's a woman sparking a debate online, which I think I was talking was yesterday. It might have been I think it was yesterday when I was lamenting the fact that, of course, I don't know anything, but my opinion is that I'll bet you that most young women today don't have the same kind of attitude about men and respect for men and willing to surrender or to, be willing to admit that the men, that they want to be kind of not taken, but want to be not necessarily overpowered, but they don't mind having a man be a man. I don't think women appreciate what a man used to be and what a man stands for, and I don't think men are what we used to be either. But I'm lamenting the fact. I feel bad. I mean, I'm out of the picture, so nothing. What I say doesn't matter for squat. But I lament the fact that I think that's true. I think that's what's happening. I think it's a shame. I just think it's a shame that whatever's happening with this dating business is getting a little ridiculous. So, and a couple of things. One involving a string of freaking pearls. Before we get to that, first, a woman, there's a thing going on called The Desirable Truth. It's a TikTok account where a guy goes on the street and asks questions of people about dating and relationships, stuff like that. So a guy stopped this woman and asked her what she would expect a man to pay for if she were in a relationship with a guy. She said, well, going out to eat and little things like that, eventually he should pay. If we live together and all of that, I'd expect you to take on more responsibility. So the guy said, would you expect him to pay groceries, rent, bills, clothing, non-essentials if you're together? She said, yes. And then she said, can you cover those expenses? The guy said, yes, of course. And then he said, why should I? And she said, because you're a man. I could and this is like a young, attractive woman. I could at one point bear your children, and I'd expect if I have a 9-month pregnancy to have a husband to be able to take care of me. So the guy said, is this something new? Is this part of your previous relationships or something you've always believed or what? And she said, well, I think this is new. When I was younger, she said, there were points where I was more okay with paying, but I just found it doesn't benefit me at the end of the day. She found that when she has paid more or given more, it hasn't been for the best. And she said, the reason men should pay is because the world is still built for men to succeed more than women. The world was kind of built.
Crap.
The world was kind of built for men.
Most colleges are full of women.
I know, but again, see where this is going. I mean, the whole flip script is very bizarre, especially the money. I can't imagine. I think I'd be flabbergasted if I ask a girl how to date, we're at their dinner table, and the bill comes, and she says, "Oh, here, let me pay half." I honestly, I would start laughing and say, "Give me that. Stop to be an idiot."
Okay, she's complaining about this, but guess what, girls? You caused that because men used to pay for everything.
Because we used to be men.
You didn't want that anymore.
Yeah, we used to say, "Hey, I'm the guy. I'm taking care of this." The same way you should walk on the outside. If you're walking with a girl on a sidewalk, you walk on the outside.
But you went to work. She did. Yeah. She cleaned the house. She did that. She raised the kids. She did all that great stuff. More important than what you were doing.
Way more important. Way more important.
And you went out and worked, and you brought the money home, and you paid for the car and the house and the insurance and the food and stuff like that. And you had that, ladies, and you pushed that out in the 60s.
That's right. That's right. That was a man's goal was to be a protective provider.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was always what I was going to be, the protective. I would kill for you, and anything I have is yours. I mean, whatever we can do. But I think those days are long gone. And some people are saying, dating is way too. See, my other point was in this one comment on this. One person claimed that dating has become way too transactional. I'm buying somebody? No, I'll pass. They scream for equality, and then you split the check. I don't get any. I just think it's a shame. I just think it's a.
So we went through this long period, which has been most of my adult life, where if you were with somebody, you lived, or you're married or something, both of you probably worked, and you both split the bills, or you had a single checking account or something like that. And now you have young women out there saying, "Oh no, we're not even going to do that anymore. You're going to pay for freaking everything, and all I'm going to do is have a kid."
I don't know.
And no one can afford that anymore. You can't have one person working and no one else doing nothing.
Right. Try to buy a house.
Can't afford to.
Try to buy a house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And by the way,
Flounder's been trying to be a kept man for days now. It's never going to happen. She's not going to put up with it.
If she gets that one more raise, he's out. He's done. He's going to take care of the dog and cat. But here's another thing. Again, I'm telling you, this dating thing with the swiping left and right and the social media stuff, and now filling out basically surveys before you meet somebody, this kind of stuff. Women now are swearing there is something called the pearl earring case.
pearl necklace.
Well, no.
Yeah, that
a
I've
pearl
heard of.
necklace. Yeah, the pearl. Well, here's social media has a theory that pearl jewelry symbolizes beauty, class, and sophistication. Single girls on TikTok are ditching feminine pieces of jewelry because they think wearing them is preventing them from meeting eligible bachelors. Men don't know how to pursue women anymore, and TikTok created the pearl earring theory. Women who wear expensive accessories like pearl necklaces and earrings are intimidating, expensive, or high maintenance, and they say that might scare away potential suitors, pearls being a red flag to men to avoid in the dating world. That's what women are saying, simple things. No wonder I'm single. I've been decked out in these pearls all the time I go someplace. No wonder I can't find a man showing off her gemstone jewelry and stuff. This explains everything. I mean, and by the way, that's the other thing. What happened to men? Who would care? I mean, honestly, if you're a guy and there would be any kind of a thing about a woman's jewelry of old-fashioned.
Guys don't. That's for women. Women wear jewelry for other women. Guys don't really.
We don't care about that. I mean, we might notice it or not. We'll notice if you're having some long, flashy, dangling earrings, but it's not like we care. I mean, if you're happy, you like them, great. If they don't stick in your hair, great. I'm happy for you. But it's not a thing, And although it means we can buy you stuff, I love things that women like because easy to buy them something for the birthday or whatever, all that stuff. But anyway, but again, it's just they got it backwards.
The dating's got to really suck these days.
And then here's another thing. I don't think this is true either. In fact, I think just the opposite. Pearls might make men run for the hills, but look at this. Here's another theory, the red nail theory. Red nails keep them coming back. The red nail theory is that men are attracted to women who sport red nail polish because it reminds them of their mother.
Or hookers.
French whores.
Seriously. Ooh la la. Oh, red finger. I'm going to get lucky tonight. Get the red fingernails
You
going.
know what I hate is the black nail. The black.
Yeah, that's
Lord.
vampiric goth. Unless it's a cute goth chick.
Yeah, well, like that cute goth chick, Tracy, that I had that 2-day date thing with. Yeah, she was 21 and I was 48 or something. Oh, God. She was.
Remind me to shake your hand.
Fabulous. Oh, Lordy mercy. I miss you, Tracy. 413, Kimber Pete Flounder. I do. I really knocked that one bad. Anyway, look out.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, XTRA 106.3.
As you know, President Trump was right down here in Collier County, Florida. That was yesterday, the opening of Alligator Alcatraz. Now, I wanted to go out there and have fun screwing around with protesters, but Donna talked me out of it. She runs the show. But oh, the idiocy you saw with those protesters, of course. There's a reservation nearby, so we had the Indian protesters, and their signs said something about sacred land. Question: have you ever seen any project within 100 miles of the nearest Indian that didn't produce screams about sacred land? The media probably didn't show these to you. There were signs about Palestine. There were people wearing their cute little Palestinian scarves. Abolish ICE. Well, of course you saw those. These are people that do not want any controls on illegal immigration. We call them Biden voters. No human is illegal. Oh, how clever. The person isn't illegal. What they did was illegal, but these are protesters. They chant, but they can't think. The local news, known for its absolutely gorgeous female reporters, who certainly weren't hired because of their brain power, they talked about Donald Trump's, quote, anti-immigration agenda. I guess the budget for makeup and hairspray for these newsrooms so great they can't hire an editor to keep their reporters from sounding like idiots. Can we try out anti-illegal immigration agenda? Know this, many of these protesters, not all, were paid. This is their side hustle. They'll be somewhere else next week at another protest, gathering their envelopes full of money. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garage. .com.
A second opinion with Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler of Chandler Wealth Management, can reveal red flags and what Coach Pete calls financial termites.
Yeah, let's look behind the scenes and make sure you're doing the right thing. And if you're not, the absolute best time to find out you're doing the wrong thing was before you did it. But now the second best time is today. And maybe you have too many financial termites in your portfolio. Who knows? Financial termites, too much risk, too many fees, and commissions coming out of your money. Say you give a broker $100,000 and then you look at your first statement and it says $90,000 and you didn't do any trading. And so be very careful about it. There's a lot of warning signs that pop up in my head when I hear different things. And if someone is slamming safe alternatives, folks, too, by the way, I mean, we practice risk and safety principles here, making sure you have that properly balanced portfolio. But if you have an advisor who's pushing all safety all the time or all risk all the time, then they're not the real advisors for you, I don't think, for retirement.
Call for a comprehensive review with Craig Chandler, 800-419-6164, 800-419-6164.
There we go.
You're oblivious, aren't you?
He doesn't know.
What? What'd I do?
Not listen to the lyrics?
What now? I have no idea what did I do? What did I do? Something bad?
You're talking over it.
I talked about that dress. I didn't get it.
Forget it.
You guys are having fun. I want to have fun too. Come on, you're having fun on my account. I want to know what it is. It's
All right, listen.
Out of Mets dress.
A pearl necklace.
Oh, pearl necklace. Well, I can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, he's not speaking English.
Well,
loud and clear.
Oh, God. I love being the bride. You know, it just starts in the morning and goes in the afternoon. It's just, let's have fun with the Kimmer. Why not? Well, there you go. 1971, Queen.
Your name's on the marquee.
I know. I got my name right there and everything. 1971, Queen went to Surrey College in England, the group's first gig, with a lineup of Freddie Mercury, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon. 1971, Queen with that lineup for the first time, singing about a pearl necklace, among other things. Well, I recognize this song more than that last one here. Our birthday list, who was I going to give here? Oh, this is kind of bizarre. Imelda Marcos is still alive, 96 years old. Former First Lady of the Philippines, and kind of ran things when her husband was convicted of stuff, and she was convicted too. Imelda Marcos was known as the Iron Butterfly. Imelda Marcos, former First Lady of the Philippines, 96. When they got her, I find it arrested her for corruption. She got sentenced to prison for 77 years, but never actually served because of her age and various things. But that was only in 2018 when she got convicted. When they kicked her out, basically, they discovered in the presidential palace, Imelda Marcos had 15 mink coats, 508 gowns, 888 handbags, and 3,000 pairs of shoes. And she's still hanging around 96 years old.
I haven't seen a closet of shoes like that since Flounder's place.
and they're all perfectly spaced, exactly in the bin. You could eat off the floor. You could perform surgery on the bathroom floor in that place. Anyway, and on this day in history, 1992, the British publishing record was set of all time when theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking published A Brief History of Time. The book was on the nonfiction bestseller list for 3.5 years. 22 languages, 3 million copies. The Brief History of Time was the latest theory on the origins of the universe in language that most people could understand. There was a documentary about it. Diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease in his 20s, Hawking was told he had 2 years to live. He kept studying theoretical physics. He got married, had a kid, a son. Disease left him paralyzed except for his left hand. He had couldn't understand his speech. He underwent a tracheotomy in '85 after a bout with pneumonia and had a mouse-controlled voice synthesizer, which improved the clarity, and his synthesized voice is in The Brief History of Time, also a popular Pink Floyd song, and an episode of The Simpsons, as you'll recall. Hawking received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, many other honors and awards, wrote several other books about black holes and baby universes and so forth. He was known for his contributions to cosmology and quantum gravity, and he died in March of 2018 in Cambridge, England, long after they suspected he would not be around. Kim Rapine Flounder, how's it going? 422-404-741-1230, 741-1230. How about one more girl thing? And I don't understand how the ending of this happened at all. A woman has revealed that when she got home from a work business trip, she said her husband seemed a little funny, so she opened his phone. And she discovered, and she went on Reddit to share this, she had a gut feeling something was wrong while she was away. Her husband was kind of aloof and distant, so she picked up his phone and found herself shaking and crying because she discovered a conversation between her husband and a friend where he bragged about his night out. Here was the text. 311 concert, box seats for free with a buddy and a friend's ex who he left at the altar. And I slept with her, he wrote, and then laughed it off with, "It was fantastic, LOL. Did not expect the night to go that way. Woke up 15 minutes ago and was like, who are you? Before I remembered." His friend says, "Oh my God, LOL, how was it?" He said, "Oh man." And the hookup apparently happened at a mutual friend's house. And the guy admitted on his texting that the wife found, the husband admitted he had a crush on this woman since he was 14. And the conversation ended with a final jab. "Good warm-up for next weekend," the friend wrote, because next weekend, the wife said, they're experiencing a level of hangover I don't think they've discovered yet, because the next weekend was when this guy, the husband, and his buddies are going away on a guy's trip, which she calls basically just debauchery. And despite the devastation of what she discovered, she has not confronted her husband.
Uh-oh.
She said, "There's no point. He'll just scream and yell and blame me." I'm horrified by that. I don't know why his stuff wasn't on the driveway when he woke up in the morning. I mean, seriously.
The women I dated, there'd be a knife waiting.
I mean, you got to feel. I mean, how horrible is that?
I feel sorry for her.
Yeah,
she's stuck in that situation. She needs to leave.
She's got to leave. In fact, there was a bunch of things, and Dear Abby, they do this kind of things all the time. They're still doing it, where a woman discovered that her husband, they had some friends sleeping over, a guy and his wife, and the woman, the wife, number one, discovered that wife number two of the other guy had been upstairs massaging her husband because she was a professional massage therapist or something, but it was, they disappeared for a couple hours when nobody knew what was going on. I mean, it's just, creepy stuff that she kind of caught that there was some more going. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's a great meme going around. It's a woman confronting a man. She goes, "Can you tell me why I found photos of naked women on your phone?" And he says, and I'm going to clean this up, "Because you're a blanking nosy blank."
Yeah, a small surprise. Oh, mercy. Anyway, speaking of having fun and going and taking people on vacations and stuff, this was a bizarre thing. A couple of amusement park, theme park stories in the news today, including Six Flags is going to close another park. I guess now, I don't know, Flounder, when's the last time, or even have you gone to an amusement park in years?
It's definitely been a minute. I'm trying to think, probably. Actually,
has Veronica ever gone?
I went about when I was working across the hall at Rock 100.5. me and my buddy Nate, who worked there, we went. We got free tickets, and we got to go one afternoon and ride some of the roller coasters. So maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah. Lord Brian, you're 21-year-old. What do you do at theme parks or amusement parks or Six Flags or Six Flags over Georgia?
I've only been to Six Flags one time, but I've been to Disney twice, and that's all of my amusement park experience. Only 3 times to different amusement parks.
Yeah. Now, how was it? Did you ride the rides at Six Flags? Are you like a roller coaster guy?
I'm not a big roller coaster guy. I have a fear of heights, so I really don't like roller coasters all that much.
Yeah. What would you do at Disney?
I like water rides. Water rides are my favorite.
Like log runs or whatever those things are. Getting splashed. And stuff.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
If you're a kid growing up in Atlanta in the 70s, man, we went several times every summer.
Well, people got summer passes. I mean.
Yeah, we got summer. You know, the last time you and I were at Six Flags.
Wow. My God.
We did a remote.
We did a remote
in the 90s with Fox News.
That's right.
And I remember we were on one side.
It was after a little. Wasn't there an event that happened, and that's why we were out there to talk about water safety or something? Because
their morning show, the Fox morning show, was on one side of the park, and we were on the other side. And I never forget this. I still have the T-shirt because they were all laughing that everybody got a T-shirt on the Fox side, and we got squat on our side, right? Steve Ducey walked across that entire park and brought us all T-shirts when he heard about it.
Man, I don't remember much of anything about that. Yeah. Well, cool. Wow. Well, again, Six Flags is closing another park, and they closed one in Maryland just recently. California, Great America in California is shutting down. They've said apparently they sold the land, and somebody bought it, and they're going to turn it into a San Francisco investment company bought the land of where Great America Six Flags is in California. They bought the land for $310 million. So they're going to turn it into something else where they apparently can make more money.
That's not a lot of money for that much land in California. Near San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, it was they bought it years ago. But again, and with a deal that the park would stay there for X number of years, and they've now announced we're leaving as soon as we can, kind of deal. But now check this out. In fact, I'm a little nervous about. Check this out from Scott Jennings. I got it here somewhere. I swear to God, I know I do. Here it is. Scott Jennings was talking to various people about amusement parks and so forth, and he said this. I think what's the matter?
I have the audio.
Oh, you do? Oh, my God. Well, thank you. Yeah, please go ahead. Here's Scott Jennings, CNN, the one conservative guy on CNN.
Scott, I think we need restrictions on if you're over the age of 21 and you go to Disneyland or Disney World and you don't have children, straight to Alligator Alcatraz, El Salvador.
But have you ever been to Epcot?
I'm just saying, this is weird. And talk about people that get in the way of things. You're trying to take your kids there and you got these weirdos walking around. I'm just saying.
Go to Epcot. It's great for grown-ups, okay? Everyone, thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
I wonder if Hangman's listening.
In fact, Hangman, this is true. Hangman just had a birthday, and just the other day popped up on my phone. So from a comment, I replied, I assume that Disney is sending you a cake. And he said, no, but they're having one waiting for me Friday. I swear, he's going back to Disney World again. He and his wife, and in fact, it got to the point, I mean, literally, Pete, you can tell me if I'm telling the truth. It seems like about every 3 weeks, they go to Disney World for the weekend.
How do you afford the gas?
I mean, they drive down to Disney World and stay for the weekend and come back. And I'm not making this up. You can confirm this for me. There was a time not long ago when one of the trips, the kids finally say, God, we don't want to go. Can we just stay home? We don't want to keep going back to Disney World.
That's true. They went, and the kids were left.
Yeah, that's right. And so, God bless them. They're having fun. I get, but it's got to be expensive. I mean, going to the World of Eats or whatever those things are and stuff. They have some great restaurants. You get some great.
Expensive.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, God bless them. But I've never quite understood.
Hey, Minnie, here comes the pony.
It's 4:30 already. Holy smokes! Kimber Feed Flow. Let's do some tweets. You want to do some tweets?
Tweets.
How about a little tweets? Rudy coming up here next. Kimber Feed Flow and Lord Brian.
The Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Well, here come those occasional thunder boomers. Holy smokes. And if you're growing something, it's a great time of year to do it. And especially if you're putting something in a yard or a patio, Stovall and Company, your wholesale landscape supply company. Paul and the boys have been doing this family thing for like 75 years, 11 locations, latest one up in Canton. And I can personally tell you, they have the trees and shrubs and plants and flowers and grass and sod and sprinkler systems and irrigation stuff like that. And again, I love this about these guys. If you looking for something and they don't have it and they can tell you where to go, even if it means losing a sale, because that's how much they care about doing your business forever. Look them up, StovallInc.com.
There are nut jobs on the road. Who knows where they learn to drive? If one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant, 855-GA-INJURY. Van Sant Law, one of Georgia's top-rated personal injury lawyers and car accident firms. Time is of the essence. Don't waste any. The longer you wait to get the right lawyer, the longer it takes to get the compensation you deserve. Call Van Sant Law today. The number is 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com.
Braves baseball is always on the Fan and streaming on the Fan app.
Bounce up the middle, might get through. It does! Rattle around third. Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win!
The Fan streams every single Braves game all season totally free on the 680 The Fan app, on your smart speaker, and online at 680thefan.com. So don't miss a pitch.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Grab the all-new Fan app now for Apple or Android.
My name is Patrick, and I'm the Military Outreach Manager at the Warrior Alliance. I served in the U.S. Army as an airborne ranger and deployed to several combat zones in support of the global war on terror. Veterans bring excellence through our work ethic, skills, and civic duty. However, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, as we all share a loss of purpose when leaving the military. Returning veterans have earned and deserve our support so they can thrive on their journey home. The Warrior Alliance understands the challenge and is helping warriors navigate to success after service. Join us in changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
The Morning Extra, every weekday on your drive to work.
Democrats, they don't order weighted blankets. They ordered crushing blankets. They're like, can you get me one that's so heavy? I'm like, I want it to be heavy like a car.
Make me feel bad for being me. You got one of those blankets back there? I'm ashamed of being an American. You got one of those blankets back there?
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Man, how's it going? What's up, sir?
It's fine, man. I got a quick tale to tell you about. Some of my buddies were headed to a Civil War reenactment in Aiken, South Carolina, and they threw all their gear in a little small trailer behind their pickup going across the Interstate 20 when they blew a tire out.
Uh-oh.
Well, they stopped on the side of the tire and opened the trailer door to get the spare tire, and the family cat was in there, and it had got scared so bad it just came right past them, nearly knocked one of them down and hit the woods.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They changed the tire, went on to Aiken for the weekend because they went through the woods, couldn't find it. They come back on Sunday afternoon. They spent about 4 more hours on it, and they got home, and the kids went to crying. Got to have the cat. So the next Saturday, one of them went down there with their kids, and they went to riding the back roads off the interstate, and there in the corner of the 2 dirt roads was the family cat sitting there about half starved to death, and they got it back.
I'll be darned. Oh, man, what a great story. You know, I just, heart-wrenching, because we've all lost a pet. I think we've all, runaway dog or looked for, more. Great stuff. Thank you, Robbie. Great story with a happy ending. We like those. And Mark is on the radio. Hey, Mark, how's it going? What's up, man?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
You're doing
I'm a repeat
great.
caller, and I just was listening a little bit ago. Love your show, by the way.
Well, thank you.
You were talking about the folks that frequent Disney World a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And I know a woman personally who went for a solid month every day.
Oh, it's got to be a nightmare. I mean, to stand in line and to get the. I mean, did she explain herself? I mean, what was the thing behind that?
No, it was something for her to do. Her husband and I were co-workers, and we were actually working in Kentucky. We're both aircraft maintenance instructors, but she just didn't want to spend her time at home by herself, and they lived fairly frequently, close by, rather. And so she did. She just would frequently go there and just hang out and have a good time. She'd take her grandchildren and whatever.
Yeah. Well, now they used to have summer passes or various passes, and I think they still do, but I think they're real expensive now. They used to be, kids would get them for $50 for the whole summer or something. You could do things like I don't know about that. Oh, wow, that's a lot.
It's definitely an expensive venture. There's no doubt about it.
I can imagine. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness.
Remember back when we had the Braves years ago, and they trained there in Kissimmee, right next door at Walt Disney World. So we got
our show
passes
down there. Yeah.
So after the games and after job and everything like that, at night I would just go wander around the parks. And after 3 or 4 days of that, it's like, okay, I've done this.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, I know. Oh my! Our birthday list: Larry David, co-creator of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, genius. It says here, Larry David is 78 years old today. And still going strong, I guess, from various things.
I just had a visitor, by the way.
You just had a visitor?
I went out in the living room and looked out, and there, right in front of the front porch, the highest he's ever been was Grover T. Groundhog. He had walked all the way up the hill and was just sitting around looking for new bits of food here by the porch.
Are you leaving him kernels of corn or anything? Or
he doesn't really. I've left him stuff down before, and he doesn't care for it. I don't know if it's store bought. He doesn't eat it. It's got to be natural, I guess. But he was up here just looking around, Then he sauntered back down to the creek.
I'll be darned. I can't tell you the number of woodchucks that I had. Oh, never mind. I was helping a girl with the horses. Brenda had the farm, and the horses would, if they got in the woodchuck hole, they were bad. So they asked me to get rid of the woodchucks, and so I took my 30-30 Winchester Model 94 from 1958. I bought that thing used. I bought that when I was 16 in 1962, used. So I still have it.
Is it Red Ryder?
No, it's a Winchester 30-30 lever action, old fashioned lever action 30-30 deer rifle. Anyway, and I said, well, there you go. Let's see. On this day in history, you got treats coming up here. On this day in history, 1778, the first capital case of the newly formed United States of America. 1778, the case was a woman named Bathsheba Spooner. She was married, but she had a boyfriend who knocked her up. And so she and her boyfriend and 2 others conspired to kill her husband, which they did. They murdered him and put his body in the well. The woman Bathsheba got caught, tried to get her execution delayed because she was pregnant with her boyfriend's baby. The judge denied the request, and they hanged her. And the autopsy showed she was pregnant with a 5-month-old male fetus when they executed her.
So they usually don't do that. Remember the famous pirate?
Well, again, 17
something.
Yeah, Anne Boleyn or not?
She got off.
That's not it.
She got off a death penalty because she was pregnant.
Right. Well, again, this was the first capital case in America 1778, a woman hanged pregnant. Wow. I mean, it's a lot. Anyway, 441. How's it going? 404-741-1230. 741-1230. You're right. They're repeating Foster. Well, he's got stuff to do. He's got man busy. You know, we got memes. We got these one-liners. We got jokes. We got a thing we like to call Pete's Tweets on the radio.
All right. In case you haven't noticed, President Donald Trump has saved us again.
Yeah, I see. Saved us.
After Joe Biden had millions of chickens executed in a knee-jerk move to stop some bird flu that was overblown, egg prices skyrocketed. Yeah. You could say they flew higher than a natural chicken can. By the way, a chicken can fly higher than you might think if you give them a good kick, believe me.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Yes.
Because President Trump has stopped the massacre of chickens, egg prices are down, and Waffle House is now stopping charging their egg surcharge. Are you tired of winning yet?
It's excellent news. In fact, I saw the chart on TV when the last administration started canceling and killing all the chickens and eggs and stuff. The price of a dozen eggs was $7. It's now something like $2.60. I mean, talk about
maybe a little higher in some places, but
but still,
a lot
it's
cheaper than
way
it
back
used to be.
Yes, sir.
Mike, the engineer, says the first Alcatraz is known as the Rock.
Yeah.
The new one in the Everglades is now known as the Croc.
I like it.
In Great Britain, you can now murder your baby in the 9th month of your pregnancy if you decide the child is inconvenient. But praying silently in your head on a public sidewalk can get you arrested. Commentator Neil Oliver tweets, when will enough people see that we are at war with an anti-human agenda pushed by a relative handful of narcissistic psychopaths who hate us?
Man, I mean, look what's happening. Just look at the facts.
You can block full roads if you're Muslim doing prayers in London, but you can't stand silently on a sidewalk and pray inside your own head if you're Christian.
To yourself. Yeah.
That's where it's gotten. Back in the day, the radio tower for WLW in Ohio transmitted at 500 kilowatts. Its signal could literally be heard around the world. But all the power came with a side effect. People living near the tower could hear the radio broadcast coming from their pots and pans, even their mattresses. Imagine laying in bed and suddenly you hear voices coming from under your butt.
Well, again,
I think they've had to turn it down.
500 kilowatt. Now, the FCC regulates radio stations to 50,000 watts of clear channel, but in Mexico they were doing 100,000 watts or more. But 500,000 watts, that's got to be unbelievable, man.
But we used to have a really bad signal at night, and I did the night show, right? So we had to turn down at sundown. Yeah. And one night about 9:30, some guy calls up and goes, I've never listened to your show before. It's great. I love this show. So, well, thanks, everything. And he goes, yeah, I've never picked you up before. I go, well, where are you? He goes, Milwaukee.
Yeah, I forgot to turn the signal
And the board op went nuts because they had forgot to turn the. We were broadcasting from Ontario to Cuba.
Well, do people know why that is? Should I tell them do we know why that is? Because the signal on an AM radio channel, FM signals, radio wave signals are very tiny. They're little bitty short things. AM radio signals are big, long, looping signals.
FM.
Yeah. So if you, when the ionosphere lowers, at night the ionosphere lowers. So long radio signals will now suddenly bounce off the ionosphere and go farther, which is why a 50,000 watt clear channel, which I came here to work for in 1972, was heard all over the country, because when the ionosphere dropped, we were picked up in Chicago and Milwaukee and everywhere else, because the length of the signal, it doesn't go through the ionosphere, it bounces off it. The other signals do go through, and that's why they don't travel everywhere.
And we're now eternal.
Well, now that's something to think about.
Everything we've ever said is out in space.
Still out there.
It's traveling. It never stops. It travels until something picks it up or just keeps going. Everything we've ever said, every TV show ever broadcast,
it's out. What would stop it? Unless it hits a rock or anything. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, it's fairly scary.
Yeah, really.
So I interrupted you. Are you still getting?
No. You're fine. That's it. That's
okay. Fine. Well, anyway, it's 4:45 already. Holy cow! Holy crap! Of sports is coming up. We'll hopefully talk about the Braves here.
More bad news.
Oh yeah, God! I know we're not.
You want to hear it now?
Well, sure. A little tease. So what's coming up if you want? Sure.
Spencer Schwellenbach is out till September.
Oh God! Come on.
Yeah.
The lesson was when we won all those 16 division titles, we had pitching.
Yeah.
We had pitching. Anyway.
Well, we still have kind of pitching.
Yeah.
Nobody can hit.
Well,
except Acuna and Olsen.
Yeah, and now we got a couple of bad injuries. All right, guys, 4:45. Kimmer, Pete Flounder, and Lauren Bryant in the back. Look out.
XTRA 106.3 is Atlanta's home for NASCAR, and we have live races every weekend from across the country. Check out XTRA1063.com for the full schedule and join us this weekend for live NASCAR action.
Moldy, mildew, rotting wood, peeling paint. Is your house suffering from the uglies? Well, then it's way past time to call the siding pros of Peach State Windows. Call now and get 1,000 square feet of tough, durable Hardy Plank siding installed for only $49.95. 0% financing for 12 months and no money down with your good credit. 1,000 square feet of tough, durable Hardy Plank siding installed for only $49.95. Call today and make the uglies go away. 770-485-8011. That's 770-485-8011.
Hey, this is John Flading from ATL Turfco. We're a family-owned and operated independent local company here in the Atlanta area. We've been in business for over 15 years. We install several different types of artificial grass. One is landscape, which looks like real grass for your lawn. The next one is pet turf. Pet turf is a little bit shorter than landscape and it's more durable. And the other one is putting greens. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
It's July 2nd, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Anisette Day. For fans of black jelly beans or black licorice, you're already familiar with the flavor of the anise herb. A favorite mixer in drinks ranging from coffee to alcohol, anisette is extremely popular in countries like Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France. One warning, however, it's never a smart idea to drink straight anise. Its high alcohol content can be very irritating to the throat. Also on this date in 1962, Sam Walton opened the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Acts into law. And in 1979, the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin was issued. It will be the first U.S. coin to honor a woman. If it's your birthday today, you share it with the first African-American to sit on the Supreme Court, Thurgood Marshall, born in 1908, and the king of NASCAR, Richard Petty, born in 1937. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is XTRA 106.3. We're at XTRA 106.3 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at XTRA 106.3 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
No, it's all good. I'm here. There goes some there. There you go. Little David Bowie action. Well, David Bowie, 1966, and the lower third. With David Bowie, the lower third, appeared at the Lion Hotel in Warrington, England. They were paid $40 for the gig. They also appeared with the Powerhouse, which featured Eric Clapton, along with Jack Bruce, Steve Winwood, and Paul Jones, 1966. You forget some of those groups go way back. I would not have thought of, Steve Winwood in 1966. David Bowie. Anyway, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Lord Brian in the back. On our birthday list includes a person named Owain Yeoman. Maybe it's Owen pronounced so. It's Owain. Owain Yeoman, 47. Played Wayne Rigsby on The Mentalist and Benedict Arnold on AMC's Turn. I remember that AMC series for a while. It was pretty good about Washington and everything. Anyway, Owen is 47 years old, just for the record. And on this day, the stupid Mr. Phone, you rotten little... sorry. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And I got kind of a weird, like a bar quiz thing of unusual situations coming up here in a second after I tell you about the historical note, which links into it, because on this day, in 1881... 4 months into his administration, President James Garfield is shot walking through a railroad waiting room in Washington. His assailant was Charles Guiteau, disgruntled, deranged office seeker who had unsuccessfully sought an appointment to the U.S. consul in Paris. So he was ticked. He didn't get the job, so he shot President Garfield in the back and the arm and got arrested. Garfield was mortally ill, treated in Washington, taken to the seashore in New Jersey, trying to recuperate with his family. Chester Arthur was acting president, but after 80 days, Garfield died of blood poisoning, and Arthur was inaugurated as the 21st president. Garfield had 3 funerals. One in Elberton, where he was with his family, one in Washington, another rested in the Capitol, and then a third in Cleveland, where he was actually buried. The guy Guiteau murder trial began in 1882, was found guilty, sentenced to death, and he was hanged at his jail in Washington. Now, that was on a little thing. Now, check this out. This could be like a bar bet or it'd be kind of hard to put it this way, but with this information, see what you could do with this. What man was on the scene when 3 U.S. presidents were assassinated? One man was there at all 3. I know Pete Davis knows this because you're a history guy. Flounder, have any idea? There's no way of knowing this. Of course you wouldn't know unless you knew it. This is an incredible story. That amazing feat befell Abraham Lincoln's son, Robert. Robert was with his father right after the assassination in 1865, and then 16 years later, in 1881, Robert Lincoln was the Secretary of War for James Garfield. And James Garfield and Robert were standing together when Garfield was shot, which I just told you about in 1881. And then that was 2. And then 20 years later, in 1901, Robert Lincoln became head of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And he was invited by President William McKinley to join him at a business exposition in Buffalo, New York. Robert walked into the exhibition hall and McKinley was shot. After that, Robert Lincoln vowed never to go anywhere near a United States president again. And they all vowed the same thing, by the way. Can you imagine? Abraham Lincoln's son, 3 presidential assassinations, 20 years apart, 16 years and then 20. Unbelievable.
It's a rough time.
Holy cow. Anyway.
Hey, by the way, we've got more activist judges. Federal Judge Randolph Moss, appointed by Obama, has ruled that President Trump's declaration of an invasion at the southern border, which has reduced illegal crossings by 99.9%, is illegal and must be rescinded. Therefore, he says the border has to be open again for military-age males to pour over. And it'll take the Supreme Court to stop this because he's out of the U.S. District Court in District of Columbia. But once again, you have a liberal white judge trying to destroy the United States of America. Is
there a specific case on this, or just the ability?
Yeah, they filed. Somebody went after to try and stop it. Blah blah blah. Some group went after another hate America group, and he's sided with them because he's a Democrat, liberal, Marxist on the bench.
And again, the liberal Democrats got away with their collusion to stock this country with little brown people and accusing us of hating little brown people, that we are all conspiracy theorists, racists who had no business trying to stop people looking for a better life. Well, okay, seriously, is there anyone who doesn't understand that we can't just allow everybody to come in? I mean,
they want open borders. That's what they want.
And now what are we? How are we supposed to take care of them? Again, it isn't like people have something to offer America. There are 15 or 20 million who came in, 300,000 or 400,000 every month for years. They don't. How many of millions of them? Millions do not speak English, don't know the culture. They just wanted to get away from where they used to live because they know America's going to take care of them. What are they going to do to America? How are they going to take care of themselves? Are we're supposed to be to take care of all their benefits and medical care and children and schools and housing and food and food stamps and training for job training. I mean, what are you kidding me? Where are they? How are we supposed to take care of them? Even California Governor Slime said, "Well, we can't afford to keep doing Medicare for all these illegals." I mean, who didn't know that?
I know. Figured out he should have known that that's what was going to happen, but no, he didn't care. He wanted his constituents to grow.
And again, the reason they did it is because, two reasons. One, because they, and no matter who you are, illegal or anybody else, if they count you, you're in the census. So if states like California or wherever get all these other people, they're going to get more congressmen. I mean, the more people you have, the more you get represented in Congress. Secondly, when they have all these people coming in, and then when they get back in control, if they had kept the presidency and the Congress, the next step would have been, if they had gotten both houses of Congress, which thank God they did not, the next step would have been to nationalize and citizenship approval for every one of those people who came in. And they would never lose another election.
Nope.
And they almost got away with it. And they're still getting away with it to some extent.
But, and the goal is one world government, no borders. And you have to, so at some point you have to have some kind of government that controls the entire world. And here's where the bloodbath starts. Because I'm telling you, people in Russia and China and the U.S. and South America and Africa cannot agree on what form of government that would have to be. So to get everybody to kowtow to the one government, you're going to have a military that has to stand on entire races and countries and maybe some continents' necks to get them to comply.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a bloodbath the world has never seen before.
And by the way, where's it ever worked? For example, the guy in New York, that Mamdani or whatever his name is, he's calling for local control of grocery stores. So I guess if you're in a certain zip code, you have to go to a certain grocery store at certain hours. All this stuff. He's against the American imperialism of a free enterprise and stuff. Where has that ever worked? Free bus service, free child care, free everything, free education at the University of New York. Where's that ever worked? Give me a place where that's been successful. Seriously.
I will say for once, they've come right out. They've taken the mask off, and they're basically full communists now.
He's a communist.
Those are right out of Das Kapital of Karl Marx.
He said there should be no billionaires. They should spread the money around. I mean, how much do you have to hear?
It's funny how you always hear them say, the communists say, they don't want any more billionaires, but they never say they don't want any more poor people.
Yeah,
they never want to bring people up.
And
they want to drag everybody down.
Yeah. Anyway, 4:58 already. Holy crap. Flattering a little, it was funny back there, I'll bet you probably somewhere.
MDMA, psilocybin, weed, all pass the FDA hurdles for safety. But you know what wouldn't pass the FDA hurdles for safety? I was thinking about it. Alcohol. For safety? Like if they tested alcohol, like whiskey, in a lab, 100 men, 100 women, scientists dispensing it, marking down the results, they go to their boss the next day and be like, all right, sir, we did the whiskey test. First 1 or 2 drinks, people seem warm and happy. And then around the third drink, a lot of the men became belligerent. And the women were upset, but they said they didn't want to talk about it. And then a lot of people vomited and passed out. And everyone who drove home crashed their car. I'd be like, that sounds awful. You'd be like, I know, here's the crazy part. They all want to come back again on Saturday. And they're wondering if we can hire a DJ? And 2 Israeli guys want to promote it?
2 Israeli guys want to promote it? Well, that's pretty interesting. Who's that there, Flounder?
That's Mr. Neil Brennan.
Neil Brennan. We have fit a show occasionally. All right, hold everything. Coming up, Pete, report. We're going to repeat that story about the judge, and maybe we'll talk about it at 5 o'clock on Fox News coming up in a second. That's unbelievable. And also the latest on the court cases and holy crap at sports, and we got it all. Timber Pete Flounder, Lauren Bryant in the back there on 106.3. Go Braves tonight. Maybe turn it around. Look out.
The Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station, Extra 106.3.
A Quadruple killer pleads guilty. Lisa Brady, Fox News, admitting just weeks before trial that he killed 4 university students in Idaho.
Judge Stephen Hippler accepting Brian Koberger's change of plea to guilty of 1 count of burglary and 4 counts of first-degree murder.
I accept the plea. I direct that it be entered.
In a Boise court, the 30-year-old former criminal justice graduate student admitting to fatally stabbing the 4 University of Idaho students at an off-campus home in 2022.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Yes.
Koberger waiving his right to an appeal as part of the plea deal, with prosecutors allowing him to avoid the death penalty. The judge acknowledging victims' families are divided on the agreement, apologizing for the short notice on the change of plea hearing, and setting a sentencing hearing for July 23rd.
Fox's Christian Goodwin. The judge also says his office has had many calls and emails about the case, calling them highly inappropriate and saying he has not read or listened to any of them. There's no sentencing date yet for Sean Diddy Combs, convicted today on 2 prostitution-related counts that could send him to prison for years. But the federal jury in New York found him not guilty on the most serious charges, sex trafficking and racketeering, which could have meant life in prison. The judge is expected to announce a decision soon on granting bail for now. President Trump and House Speaker Mike Johnson meeting with some Republican holdouts on what supporters call the big, beautiful bill.
We can't make everyone 100% happy. It's impossible. This is a deliberative body. It's a legislative process. By definition, all of us have to give up on our personal preferences.
Johnson still hopeful of getting final passage this week, but the House is stalled on a procedural vote before it can move on to debating the version passed by the Senate. Democrats say that bill will hurt working families. The president insisting it will help them by spurring an economic boom. America is listening to Fox News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right of blank. Ready on your dog target. Road guards out. Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kipper with Pete Davison, Flounder, and Lord Bryan's in the back there on 106.3. How's it going? Beautiful day in the neighborhood so far. I'll bet the rain's coming. It has like a 90% chance rain. Hasn't happened yet here. But
you jinxed us yesterday.
I know.
It was a pretty day outside. And then it rained like...
Oh, poor baby. I'm the one who walked out in the middle of it. In fact, that was fine. It was freaking fine at 6:01. Okay, it's 6:07 after I hit the head and I take the elevator downstairs and I said, oh, crap. And it's freaking pouring. I mean, it was pouring. And of course, the crowd's here for the ball game, so they're all huddling under any overhang of any kind. And so and I've got my 2 satchels on my shoulders and stuff. And I'm walking down and I said, screw it. If I'm in the rain, I say, screw it. I'm not trying to hide from anything or run or anything. I just freaking take the wet. I don't care. And so I'm walking down the sidewalk, kind of acting like a big shot. And all these little girlies under the awnings and stuff are going, oh my God. Like, that was freaking unbelievable. But I got poured on. And then, so it was rain, it dried out, so big deal. Anyway, but it's true. I mean, it was just, the minute I got downstairs in the elevator, boom. I mean, and it was really coming down anyway. Kipper Pete Flounder, how's it going? 505, let's call it. Our number is 404-71... 741-1230, 741-1230. Okay. We got all the newsy stuff. We got the trials and the P. Diddy thing. And again, honestly, if I haven't been following, we haven't been talking about the P. Diddy trial much, or the Kohlberger trial either, because they're crime things and they're horrible things. And, but P. Diddy's obviously was a famous personality about all this stuff for years and years. He's had, I don't know how many names, and, his whole history and so forth. And again, when they announced the verdict that he basically got away with all the big ones, the three major crimes like racketeering and so forth, he got away with. He did get charged and convicted with a couple of basic prostitution-type charges, interstate prostitution, bringing girls across the line for sex and so forth, for money. And so that'll, in fact, they're having a bail hearing, I think, very soon this afternoon, which I'm kind of surprised because it's after 5 o'clock. But they're debating whether to give him bail, and then the sentence will be coming up later on. So we'll see. And again, he's been in prison for 10 months, and I wonder how he could get 10 years. I think it's the top. I doubt. Oh, well, who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea how anybody feels about any of this. I don't know whether a judge takes into consideration that this is the way those people, those Hollywood celebrities behave, and the girls didn't seem to be coerced into it. They took the money and they had the parties, and I don't know. Anyway, so that's going on. And the Kohlberger case, the guy slaughtered those 4 college girls and the 4 college students in Idaho. He pleaded guilty, but he said, yes, I'm guilty, but he didn't have to explain what his motive was, how he did it, how he planned it, what happened, what was the problem, if he knew them. I mean, he didn't have to explain anything. And some of the families saying, I'm glad it's over. We didn't want to go through this again, and we didn't want to hear, anybody talking about the crime any more than we have been. And the other half of them said, no, we want him to die. We want him to get the death penalty, and they took it off the table. And I'm not sure why. I thought they had a strong case.
Is it a state or federal law that you cannot profit from a murder? Because I'm thinking he's going to get together with an author and someone's going to write a book explaining everything you just said and answering all the questions. Someone's going to make some money off that. Well,
and here's the other good. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that now, because here's what could happen. He said, yes, I killed these people. He admitted that he's got 4 consecutive life sentences. He's never going to get out. The agreement split some of the families. However, the explanation goes on to say that, let's see, hold on. Well, I can't find it in the story, but I know the fact of the matter is that the family has the right to sue him in civil trial cases, and dividing the family's love with the families support the deal to avoid the bloodshed trial of any worse. The families will be able to pursue restitution for the incomprehensible destruction he caused, according to an explanation of the plea deal. Now, that would assume that he has any money, or that he could make any money, and maybe if he actually is guilty, and I can't imagine whether he's sorry for it or not. I can't imagine. What is he, like 30 or something? He's going to be spending maybe 50 years in prison, having a little fun with all the other prisoners. That can't be something to look forward to. But he may, if he feels bad or guilty or anything else, maybe he will write a book and give the money to the victims' families. Because he can't keep it. He's not going to, it's not going to go to the, the convict fund at the infirmary, or the, what do you call it? The
commissary.
Commissary. Anyway, but again, he's the only one who knows why he did it and what was in his head. I mean, clearly, there's something must have sparked, because it was planned. I mean, he went out of the way to plan.
I think he stalked him, and he wanted them, and he was alone.
Jealousy? The girl turned him down,
he
maybe?
Or something he couldn't have, and
Yeah, but 4 kids, and he was going after another one who locked the door or something.
He's evil.
Yeah.
He's just evil. He looks like Ted Bundy if you look at him.
Yeah,
he's just evil.
Well, again, the devil's greatest trick is to convince people he's not real. And that may be the bottom line of it. 5:09 already. Holy cow. One more quick thing. In case you just joined us, I didn't hear it on the 5 o'clock news. Pete mentioned it earlier. Here's more on the story of another putty-tat Obama-appointed judge making it more difficult for America to get rid of illegal immigrants in this country. What happened was a federal judge blocked Donald Trump's order to prevent migrants crossing the border from seeking asylum or applying for withholding of getting rid of them. It's a major blow to Donald Trump's enforcing his immigration crackdown. An Obama appointee named Judge Rudolph Moss said Donald Trump's proclamation to block all migrants engaged in invasion coming across the border, to block them from claiming asylum or stopping their removal, the judge said that exceeds Donald Trump's authority. The ACLU brought the suit on behalf of migrant groups and several who had wanted to seek asylum. And Donald Trump said, no, we're not going to do that asylum thing anymore. And the judge said, oh, no, you don't have the inherent constitutional authority to stop federal statutes governing removals. Most of the simply optional things would not be allowed. He stayed the order for 14 days to allow them to appeal to a higher court, and that will happen. And Donald Trump, I'll bet you the same thing's going to happen again, that he's going to go to the next higher court, and the higher court is definitely going to rule in Donald Trump's favor, that he's not exceeding his authority, hopefully. And then this is all, here we go. Can you imagine? Look at all the accomplishments Donald Trump has done in only a few months since he got in office again. Can you imagine if he had not been blocked every single day by the Democrats trying to stop him? Can you imagine if all the Republicans had stuck together just like the Democrats do from the very first day, January 21st? If the Republicans had stuck together as a group, and if he didn't have to go through with this business with the judges trying to stop him every single day, can you imagine the road we're on?
And the judges illegally trying to stop him and stopping him. The Supreme Court saying you can't do that.
Right. The court already ruled about this district business doing a national proclamation for all the people, hundreds of thousands.
When does that go into effect?
Right now, but he gave him 14 days to appeal it. So as of this minute, it's Trump has to stop. However, he has stated for, as I understand, was 14 days. So that Trump can appeal. So he's still.
You know what?
No, I don't think he can do anything in those 14 days, but I think they just hold everything for 14 days.
I hate to bring up Andrew Jackson in this case because when he did it, it was wrong because he did it to the Cherokee Nation. But basically, keep your troops there at the border and say, well, tell the court to send their troops to stop mine from doing what I want them to do.
Because Andrew Jackson said, screw you, pal, and kept going, kept doing it.
Well, he was ruled against, making the Cherokees go to Oklahoma.
Right.
And he says, tell the Supreme Court to send their army to stop mine.
Right. That's right. But I don't think Trump could do it. Well, again, this is all, it's got to come out. Modern day stuff is all through the courts. And you can only,
But we found out these Democrat judges are not ruling by law or the Constitution, as we found out in these recent things, the Supreme Court. They're ruling whatever their party tells them to do.
Well, who was it? The girl judge, Sotomayor, got caught on videotape saying, oh, well, no, the exact opposite of what she ruled, which means she only ruled for political reasons. What a freaking scandal. We played this, we saw this, and we talked about this the other day.
3 years ago, when Biden was president, she says that these district judges should not be able to stop the president. And then she voted for that to happen.
That's right.
Because it's Trump.
She said they should not stop on a national prevention program. And then she changed her mind entirely because it was Donald Trump. Clear as bell. I mean, she got caught. I mean, that should be impeachment. They ought to be able to impeach her.
Hypocrisy.
She's a dirty freaking, political hack on the Supreme Court. Oh, Lord. All right, 5:13. Holy cow. Holy cow and holy crap sports coming up here on Braves night. I'm feeling good about the Braves, so I probably shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, Mr. Rainmaker.
Gonna lose by 100. How about that? I blew it. Sorry. My bad.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck at noon, and the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. And hang out every night for Jesse Kelly at 6 and Jimmy Fela at 9. And stream it all live in crystal clear HD on the Extra 106.3 app.
Don't miss the first MLB All-Star Week event at Truist Park as talent meets tradition in the 3rd annual HBCU Swingman Classic presented by T-Mobile and powered by the MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Join fans, athletes, and alumni to watch Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. shine a light on 50 of the best young ball players from HBCUs around the country on baseball's biggest stage, July 11th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets today at allstargame.com/swingman.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
So many people are living with pain every day, and they think they're just stuck with it. I mean, it just is what it is. But it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you a story about Jenny. She lives in Texas. And let me share her Relief Factor story. She said she was out for a walk one day, and she was hit by a car, unfortunately. Nothing she tried for her lower back pain worked. Her husband heard about Relief Factor on the program. Jenny said, okay, it's worth a shot. Well, Relief Factor worked perfectly for her. Her pain decreased, her range of motion increased, and to say that she's grateful, I am told, is an understatement. My pain started when I hit my 40s. I tried everything, but nothing worked until I tried Relief Factor, and that broke the back of my pain. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try. It's $19.95. In a few weeks, even in a few days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make. You don't have to be stuck living with pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com. Call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com.
Extra 106.3 is live on your ride home with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder from 3 to 6 p.m.
And on this day in history is 1905, and again, I find this amazing. Apache Indian Chief Geronimo drives a Locomobile Model C automobile as part of a big roundup of a National Editorial Association convention in 1905. Geronimo driving a car in 1905? I thought Geronimo was like 1780 or something. I mean, wait a minute.
The Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
It was on this day in 1982, a guy named Larry Walters, San Pedro, California, took his lawn chair, put 45 helium balloons on him, and rose to an altitude of 16,000 feet and landed safely 8 miles away in Long Beach, California. And now, Holy Crap in Sports, sponsored by RBM of Atlanta with Pete Davis.
Didn't he have like a BB gun?
He shot out the balloons to get lower. They made a movie out of it with Ed Asner, I think, was the guy in it. Unbelievable.
This season just keeps getting better and better.
Is it?
Spencer Schwellenbach, one of the few bright spots this year, placed on the 15-day injured list with a fractured right elbow.
Oh, man.
Lefty Austin Cox called up from Gwinnett. Schwellenbach felt sore after his last game, a win over Philadelphia, in which he had 12 strikeouts, I believe a career high.
Yeah, it was.
He'll be shut down for a month. He might be back in September.
Wow.
Might be. Schwellenbach 7-4 with a 3.09 ERA in 17 starts this season. Already without reigning Cy Young Award winner Chris Sale with the rib cage. Last year's All-Star right-hander Ronaldo Lopez with a shoulder, and hard-throwing rookie A.J. Smith-Shawver with an elbow. So they've already lost all 4 right now. Schwellenbach thinks the game basically came about. He started to throw the baseball harder lately. And I was thinking about the other day. He was throwing so hard the other day. But I'm telling you, this obsession with baseball to throw 100 miles an hour higher is hurting the game. Yeah. Not only in injuries to the star pitchers, it also is taking more offense out of the game as a whole. That's my opinion. I'm not going to change it. I'd rather see a pitcher like a Greg Maddux or a Tom Glavine out there throwing than a fireballer blowing his arm out in 3 years or less.
Well, let me ask you, philosophically, let me ask you maybe a stupid question, but I don't understand. Are hitters getting that much better that the only way to get a really good hitter out is to throw 103 miles an hour? In other words, why are there no Greg Madduxes and Tom Glavines anymore? Are they not? I mean,
they're not taught that way. They're overlooked when they're coming up unless they're throwing hard.
But somebody must be seeing. This has been going on for a little while, long enough where you'd think that would finally say, no, we're going to teach you to throw a little more spin or something to get the corners or make the ball move more or something, as opposed to throwing 103 miles an hour.
And the NFL saw concussions for decades before they started doing anything about it. Sometimes sports, when there's a lot of money to be had,
it's a shame.
And the players too, as they want it, the harder they throw, they bet the quicker they get to the major leagues, and the more money they make for a little bit. But it doesn't help for longevity, you know.
Obviously, yeah.
Flounder found a video of a tornado touching down near Truist Park during a game. Was that last night, Flounder?
What?
It was last night. I don't know if it was an actual tornado, but the cloud looked like exactly like a tornado funnel cloud.
The formation of the cloud looked like a tornado.
I couldn't imagine being at Truist and seeing that. I'd be like, I'm gone.
Yeah. Wow.
Braves get shut out last night at home 4-0 by the Angels. Scoreless until the top of the 8th. Former Brave Jorge Soler suddenly able to hit.
Yeah.
Big blow, 2-run double to right center field. Grant Holmes left high and dry. Pitched 6 innings, gave up just 3 hits, no runs. Dylan Lee took the loss, giving up 3 runs in the 8th, just one day after being named the strong arm player of the month.
Oh, boy.
Of the month.
Well,
and then he goes out and gets shelled
to the
first
Angels.
day
Yeah.
of
Well.
July.
Oh, wow.
Jose Fermin, the win for the Halos. Austin Riley did have 3 hits. And by the way, here's the Braves offense last night. Here's the highlight from last night.
All right. Yeah. Well, here we go.
Same 2 teams tonight at Truist Park, the 3-6. You say Kikuchi. I say Kikuchi.
Well.
For the Angels, left-hander against the 0-2 Diego Fuentes for Atlanta.
Well.
Do you want my rant about him?
What? Please.
Yeah, let's bring a 20-year-old up and throw him to the Lions and just basically destroy his head. He's not ready. He's not ready. You can't find a rag arm major league veteran that's been let go by some other team and bring him in here and let him eat innings.
Yeah.
Where if something bad happens, fine. This Diego Fuentes, I don't want this kid ruined by thinking I can't pitch in the major leagues because I'm getting shelled every time. He's had 2 starts. He has an ERA over 10.
Yeah. And
I don't understand. I wouldn't bring him. I'd find a veteran. I'd just find a veteran. That's just me.
Well, and even Snitker was saying, I saw an article or something talking about him, and he's saying maybe we're just getting way too involved with this business of statistics and launch angle and rates of spin thing for hitting and stuff. We just, we're getting bogged down in analytics.
Yeah, he wasn't winning in the minor leagues, but he was pitching well, but he wasn't winning.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Jurickson Profar back from his 80-game suspension for PEDs tonight. Hopefully he won't trip and fall into a batch of banned substances again. I hate when that happens.
Oh, no, my goodness.
To make room, they've designated Alex Verdugo for assignment. And Profar says if you fans want to boo him, go ahead. He deserves to pay the price.
Yeah, true. Good point.
The Braves are now in 4th place in the East, a half game behind the Marlins. You heard me.
Wait
the Marlins. The Angels in 3rd place in the American League West, 8.5 games behind the Astros. Big news about the All-Star Game lineup. For the celebrity softball game, and by the way, the All-Star for real is going to be around 7 o'clock. They're going to announce whether Acuna makes it or all the rest of them.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But celebrity softball, we got Atlanta Stars Big Boy, Candy Burris,
yeah,
Mariah the Scientist, and Funny Marco.
Funny Marco, I don't know. Candy Burris is a name that I've heard before.
I've heard 2 of them.
Yeah.
I've heard of 2 of them, Big Boy and her.
Well, okay.
Songwriter and producer Supreme Jermaine Dupree and former Braves catcher Javi Lopez will manage the 2 teams.
That's right, I remember that. Javi's a good guy.
Also, there will be softball queen Jenny Finch, and most important of all,
kidding.
The number 1 star of the evening.
Yeah.
The Capital One Bank guy.
Oh.
He made the team over Derek Jeter and an astronaut who once lived in space.
Well, I'll be darned. I wonder why that is.
By the way, Diddy's going to remain behind bars until sentencing. That just came.
Oh, okay. Good.
Back to sports.
Yeah.
Have you a night, George Springer? He personally defeated the Yankees. He drove in 7 runs in a 12-5 spanking of New York. That's a night. Let's see if you agree with sports writer Alejandro Avila.
Okay.
He was at the Angels game in Anaheim the other night when a right fielder tossed a ball into the stands for a little boy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the little boy's daddy is a klutz and dropped not 1 but 2 tosses from the player.
Oh, man.
So Alejandro ended up with a baseball and refused to hand it over to the child.
Oh.
He works for Outkick.com and says their readers are split, but mostly hating him on whether he should have given the ball to the boy.
Yeah.
What say you?
Give the ball to the kid. I mean, and make fun of his father or something. You can't. That's
all right. Here's
silly.
the rule.
All right.
If the player is pointing to a kid and saying it's a kid's ball,
gotta
give it
kid.
to the kid.
Yeah.
If you're out there and they're throwing it in the stands and you catch it, if you know the kid or the kid looks like he's going to cry, give it to the kid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, keep the damn ball.
Yeah.
Alejandro is wrong in this instance. The guy was throwing it to him, which brings up a great 1980.
Yeah.
I took my sweetheart
Yeah.
He was rather buxom and wearing a tube top because that's what they wore back then.
Well, you're a boob man. You're a well-known boob man. So
we were hanging over the center field wall, and Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, you had to throw over that basically the fence.
That's right.
And then that pit, and then up into the stands.
Pit,
it was a good toss. Yeah. Roland Office, great defensive center fielder, was tossing the ball around and looked up and saw her. And he pointed and he hummed the ball. And of course, you had to throw it kind of hard to get it up there.
Yeah.
And it was heading right for her, and she froze. And I stuck my hand out and caught it right in front of her face.
Oh, wow. Cool. Any video of that?
No, of course, in 1980, nobody was doing video of anything
that's
back
cool.
then.
What a great
but
story.
I'm telling you what, I was rewarded later.
I'll bet. Well, no, wait, I don't want to hear that.
Despite the best efforts of Commissioner Rob Manfred to screw up the game, Major League Baseball is doing quite well. Ratings and attendance are up. So guess who's coming back begging for MLB to take them back? Why, ESPN, which not too long ago, rather haughtily announced it was not continuing the TV contract. They've now come crawling back to the bargaining table.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, someone said they'd rather have MTV do baseball games instead of a network that puts baseball fourth or fifth every night.
Now, would ESPN be getting their own broadcasters for baseball, or would they have to hire the people around there and start all over again with these
doing what they've been doing
liberals?
for 30 years?
Yeah.
They've been covering baseball for decades. They can do it. Yeah. Former Braves outfitter Kevin Pillar is retiring. He's been a Blue Jay, a Giant, a Red Sox, a Rocky, a Met, a Dodger, a White Sox, an Angel, and finally a Ranger. Kevin Pillar played for a third of all major league teams starting 12 years ago.
Wow.
And a good player.
Yeah.
And a good player. Yeah. You've all heard of MLB insider Jeff Passan. Does a pretty good job reporting on baseball. But now he may be involved in a recruiting violation.
Uh-oh.
Jeff's son, Jack, tweeted that he committed to play ball at some unknown podunk college up north called, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Williams College?
Well, now, very funny, sir. Hardest college in America to get into my brother, valedictorian.
Will.I.Ams, I think.
Williams College, sir.
The rising senior in high school might have exposed his future institution of higher learning for recruiting violations. When it comes to college baseball, the New England Small College Athletic Conference, or NESCAC, competes Division III, comprised of 11 highly selective liberal arts institutions with some of the largest financial endowments in the world. We're talking Amherst, Bates, is it Bowdoin?
Yeah, Bowdoin, yeah.
Colby, Connecticut, Hamilton, Middlebury, Tufts, Trinity, Wesleyan, and Will.I.Ams. They have different rules about commitment, so Passan's kid may have jumped the gun. If found to be in violation, the school will be placed under several harsh penalties, such as pushing their afternoon tea time to 7 p.m. And all athletes at Williams College will have to provide their own water bottles. No more of those imported, bespoke, personally engraved silver claras to put their Gatorade in. The players will still be allowed one manservant to fan them with palm fronds in between innings.
Very funny.
Randy Moss returning to NFL Sunday Countdown after beating cancer. Another great story.
Good for him. Good for him.
All sorts of rumors floating about the Hawks, the front runners to trade for Bucks superstar Giannis. Stay tuned.
No, Antetokounmpo or whatever it is. I love that guy.
Well, they'd have to trade pretty much the team to do it, but a lot of people, actually most people say no, so we'll see.
Wow.
Coco Gauff knows exactly why she was bounced in the second round at Wimbledon yesterday after winning the French Open.
Donald Trump,
Coco
I'm guessing.
Says, No. Coco says she is mentally overwhelmed from not having enough time to celebrate, then get back in the right mindset after winning in Paris. She won at Roland Garros 3 weeks ago. Obviously, that's not long enough to get over your hangover. Says she did not have enough time to party and then get back to business in 3 weeks.
What?
It's not like she was punching a time card at the Piston Factory during the time. She was lounging around swanky hotels and capitals of Europe. When did we start producing so many weak-minded athletes like the Simone Biles and that was
the little Japanese girl,
Osaka, whatever,
Osaka Masumi or whatever her Osaka
broke down.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, jeez.
Proof number 32,003 as to why Euroweenies are just that, weenies.
Yeah.
The Daily Mail of London posted a pic of soccer legend David Beckham with tennis legend and Russian hottie Maria Sharapova at Wimbledon yesterday.
All right, sir.
Here's how the Daily Mail reports. Much like every year, a number of A-listers make their way to Wimbledon to catch some of the action on court, despite it being the warmest start on record. Despite the sweltering heat, Beckham made a transatlantic dash from Atlanta, where he had been watching his Inter Miami side bow out of the Club World Cup. Sweltering heat. It was 91 degrees. It was, 95 in Atlanta while he was here.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Anyway, the WNBA Commissioner's Cup was won by the Fever in a surprise over-the-top Lynx team. Indiana did it without star player Caitlin Clark and also on Minnesota's home court. Caitlin has a groin pull. We all know how painful that can be.
Boy.
But the big news came out at halftime. Add ESPN to the list of people and things who are jealous of Caitlin and the team. Last night, ESPN's YouTube page teased an upcoming video about the Cup final. Video titled, Full Reaction, Lynx Dominate Fever to Win Commissioner's Cup. 2 problems. 1, it teased the game was still on, and 2, the Fever had won it by 15 points at that point. Your Dewey defeats Truman moment on that.
Exactly.
And the popular performer known as Red Panda, injured at the start of her performance and taken to a hospital in Minneapolis during that WNBA game.
Oh, no.
Red Panda, the stage name for acrobat Rong Niu, who rides a unicycle 8 feet above the ground, balancing bowls on her head and arms. She was at that thing last night. Fans love her. But she fell off her unicycle and hurt her wrist. She tried to break it with her wrist and sat there, tried to get up and walk, then went back down to the court. They brought a wheelchair out to get her.
Wow.
No word on her condition right now, but when her manager was asked why she fell, he said, "That's just wrong."
Oh, that's wrong. It's just wrong.
Her name's Wrong.
Name was Wrong Juninang or something.
Yeah. All right, let me find you one last thing here.
Good there,
pretty good.
I got a couple after the break coming up too.
Oh, I bet you do. I bet you do.
I got 5. Look who perked up all of a sudden.
All right. 1993, the latest game in Major League history ends at 4:40 a.m. when a relief pitcher in his first at-bat singles home the winning run, Phillies 6-5 win over the Padres in Veterans Stadium. All right, that eclipsed the game back in 1985 on July 4th in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. It ended with fireworks at like 3 in the morning, which woke everybody up that lived down there at the time, thinking it was shots, probably. The Mets beat the Braves in 19 innings, 16-13. But what is that game known for?
Oh, the July 4th?
The Rick Camp game. The most unlikely of offensive heroes. The light-hitting Rick Camp hit a home run to keep the game going. The looks on the Mets players and the Braves teammates are golden. The look on Camp's face, too. I later met him a few years later at Stooges Bar in Collier Road. He was a great guy, Rick Camp. And the other day I saw Del Murphy was holding that bat at some event of some sort.
No kidding.
He was holding it up, yeah.
Outstanding. Oh, that's cool.
I think John Sterling was the announcer. He goes, if this guy hits a home run here, I'll leave my hat or something like that. And he smacked the home run.
Yankees
the look
win.
on the pitcher's face.
That guy. Oh, mercy.
That was before he was
way before. Before
he was fired by the Braves and the Hogs.
Yeah. Thank you, Pete Dave at 5:32. Kimmer Pete Flounder, Laura Bryan in the back with so much more, and it's all standing by right up till 6 o'clock on 106.3. How you doing? Look out. There we go.
When conflicts escalate around the world, don't let the mainstream media scare you into believing their narrative. Get it right with Atlanta's only conservative voice. And trust the Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, and our entire lineup to give it to you straight. Don't buy the fear. Just keep it here. Extra 106.3 FM and the all-new Extra app.
When you enter the financial red zone, it's time to start rethinking your financial strategies and protecting what you've built. Coach Pete, what should we consider in the financial red zone?
As we enter that financial red zone, which is over age 50, we must have some money put aside that's going to give us a guaranteed lifetime income. Without income, you don't have a retirement. Now, you get your Social Security, so work on maximizing that, but then you've got money in 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, IRAs, anywhere you have money, and it's a nice lump sum. But we need to figure out how much income you can get from the lump sum you have that's guaranteed for life. That takes all the worry out of it in retirement. If you already know you've already got the money put aside, you don't have to get a checkbook out. The money's already there. Just make sure it's in the right place to give you and your family that lifetime income you can never outlive.
For a comprehensive and customized retirement review, call Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler of Chandler Wealth Management. 800-419-6164. 800-419-6164.
Ever regret a bad decision? Life is full of twists and turns and unfortunately a few regrets. Don't let new windows for your home be one of those regrets. Call the pros at Peach State Windows today. Get 8 Energy Star approved double hung vinyl replacement windows installed for only $39.95. That's 8 windows installed for only $39.95. Call or click today, 770-485-8011. That's 770-485-8011 or peachstatewindows.com.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, Trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com. Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law, don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
Promises made, promises kept. The president is making the economy great again. He's securing the border for America's safety, and the mainstream media still wants to tear him down.
The media wants Donald Trump to fail. That's their goal. That's how they'll report his progress.
But we know the truth, and we give you the perspective that other stations won't. Atlanta's only conservative voice is XTRA 106.3 FM and the XTRA app.
Chairman of the board, old Deadeyes.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Man had some pipes.
In the night,
1966.
what were the chances
Frank Sinatra
we'd be sharing love
went to number 1
before the night was through?
and the singles chart, Strangers in the Night, taken from a film called A Man Could Get Killed.
In your eyes.
Now this one, his voice doesn't sound as good as it does in other songs on this song for me for some reason.
Was so exciting.
But he had a real sound. Anyway, Frank Sinatra. Some leftover sports birthdays here, Pete Davis. Jose Canseco, 61. He shot his finger off cleaning a gun in 2014. Doctors reattached it. And Jose Canseco also says he used to stick Mark McGuire in the fanny with steroids. Among other things, Jose is 61. Bret the Hitman Hart, Wrestling Hall of Famer. Bret Hart is 68 today. The wonderful Johnny Weir is 41 years old. He's skater and skating enthusiast.
I had the under on that, huh?
He's known for his hairstyles and wild clothes and costumes and kind of flamboyant, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
But he's got a thing, and he shows up on TV, and he does, the double sow cow and the triple toe loop with the, who's that little red button? What's the name? Bobby Button or Don Button or somebody Button?
Dick Button.
Dick Button. The triple sow cow. Double toe loop. Anyway, and one more, Richard Petty. Richard Petty, God bless him, 88 years old, NASCAR legend. Legend? Oh, my God, man. Richard Petty retired after the 92 season with 200 victories, almost twice as many as the next guy on the list. Richard Petty, 200 victories, which is astounding. And speaking of astounding, Pete Davis, one more sports history thing here. I know you know about this story. The agony of defeat became lethal in 1994 when Andres Escobar, the beloved captain of Colombia's national soccer team, was accosted in the early morning hours of this day in 1994 because 10 days earlier he made a fatal error in a World Cup match against the United States. He accidentally scored a goal on his own team, kicking the ball by mistake into his own goal. Colombia lost the game to America and was knocked out of contention. Devastated fans instantly turned on their one-time hero, as did members of the Colombian drug cartel. Apparently had a lot of money riding on the match. Nice goal, said one of the enforcers, taunting Escobar every time he fired a shot into him, 12 bullets in all, from a .38 caliber pistol. Poignantly, just days before his murder, Escobar wrote an open letter to his countrymen, published in the El Tiempo, the nation's widely read paper, that please, let's maintain respect, he wrote. A big hug for everyone, and let me say that playing in the World Cup was the most rare, phenomenal opportunity and experience I have ever had. To see you soon, because life doesn't end here. And then life ended there when they shot him 12 times for a blow. And he said, here's a goal for the... Oh my.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready now.
I watched that game against the U.S. that he scored their own goal at Stooges Bar at Collier Road.
Oh, my God.
With a bartender friend of mine from Mexico named Rafael, and he turned to us and said, he's a dead man.
Oh, my, are you serious? And well, the cartels had money on the... And Colombia was supposed to kill America. The United States wasn't, any... Oh, my goodness. Wow.
How weird is that?
How cool. Is Stooges still there? I used to live off Collier Road. My apartment when I first came back to Atlanta when I was single, and it was on Collier Road.
You could see Tommy Lasorda in there. You could see the Major League umpires in there. You saw a lot of the old players in there, and there was a lot of, let's just say,
women
money exchanged for certain outcomes of certain contests.
All right. Well, there was a gambling haven. Sure, it's okay with me.
No, I didn't say that.
There's no gambling at Bushwood,
sir. And I never slice. You can own me. I owe you nothing.
Gambling in this establishment. I'm a boss.
Here's my winnings. Yeah, thank you.
Don't count that.
Winter rules. And over here, Mr. Haverkamp. Mrs. Haverkamp.
All right.
Pick up that blood. What's that sign say? The question you have to ask yourself now is, what do you stand for, Danny? Goodness or badness? I want to be good. How about a Fresca? I swear, I'm going to do the whole freaking movie one day. It's 5:42. A quick update on that judge story. The Putty-Tat Obama judge has ruled that Donald Trump has to stop telling people they can't come to America, and has to stop kicking them out of here, and it has to stop telling them they can't use asylum. The judge said that Donald Trump's order to prevent migrants from seeking asylum or for him to stop them from being removed was above his authority. It was an Obama appointed judge, and he said Donald Trump exceeded his authority, and so now I'm scrolling through the story just now. The ACLU filed the case, called it an important victory, but here we go. The judge's decision blasted by Stephen Miller, the Trump advisor, describing Judge Moss as a Marxist to circumvent the Supreme... Again, we just talked about this. The Supreme Court just ruled on this kind of thing. So Stephen Miller says, to try to circumvent the Supreme Court ruling on nationwide injunctions, a Marxist judge has declared that all potential future illegal aliens on foreign soil, a large portion of planet Earth, are part of a protected global class entitled to admission into the United States, unquote Stephen Miller. Think about it. This judge now said that anybody who wants to can come to America and claim asylum.
Yep.
Anybody in the world can come to America and proclaim asylum. This judge not only stopped the nationwide proclamation, he allowed the world into America.
I say we put him in his front and backyard.
Yeah, send him all to this guy's house. Holy smokes. The administration has cracked down on deportations, wartime immigration law, more quickly sent him flambing. This is unbelievable. Anyway, that's a quick update. Stephen Miller. But again, the nerve of this judge, he just ignored the Supreme Court ruling I just came out on this.
There's no law. There's no rule of law in the land. If the Supreme Court can just be ignored like that by judges underneath them.
Yeah. And it'll go to the he allowed 14 days to appeal, and so there's going to be an appeal, and it'll go to I guess this is a district judge, then it'll go to the federal appeals court, and then it's got to go to the Supreme Court. And so here we go again. Now maybe the Supreme Court will say, okay, it's time to stop this and be more direct about it or something. I don't know how much more direct they can be.
Seriously, what more can you do?
Yeah.
At this point, there's no law then. And, okay, they don't want vigilantes. This is how you get vigilantes.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Donald Trump popping up on camera here to react to this, because Donald Trump's likely to say, we just heard from the Supreme Court, already overruled this guy. I'm not going to pay any attention to it. But he has to appeal officially now. Here we go. And again, how much money and manpower, human power, are we dedicating to this? Once again, here we go against Donald Trump for the left.
That's all great wonder. These are words. And right now, we have a border patrol, and in the Army still down there?
Yeah.
And that's actually men in arms standing there.
Yeah.
So if they want to try and come over...
again, they didn't. Well, of course, under Biden, they never blocked anybody. Remember when they stormed the gates and just pushed our soldiers aside and just rushed in here anyway? I don't think they're going to try that now. But again, this freaking judge, can you imagine? Anybody in the world now has the right to come to America, and if they come to America and claim asylum and you want to get rid of them, you don't have the right to get rid of them. Anybody in the world can come here, claim asylum, and stay. According
the mask
to this judge.
Has dropped.
Everybody.
The mask has been dropped. These Marxists are right out doing and saying exactly what they want to do, destroy what this country is.
They told us, and they pulled it off. They did it. They got away with it.
Obama said, I will fundamentally change this country, and no one believed it.
Yeah, well, he did it. 546. Kimmer P. Flounder and Laura Bryan are back here. Dun, 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 bum, bum, bum. Look out.
XTRA 106.3 has the biggest lineup of conservative voices all week, and we're loaded with live and local programming every weekend. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Back Your Blue, Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and NASCAR on Sundays. See the full weekend lineup at XTRA1063.com and stream it free on the XTRA app.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Hey, Atlanta's Mark from the Safe House. I have a question for you. Am I the only person pissed off with the mainstream fake news, liberal judges,
and whiny liberal politicians
who don't realize why Donald Trump is president, and fake safes? And you may wonder, why fake safes? Well, a fake safe is like Joe Biden, cheap and ineffective. A real safe from Atlanta Safe House is like Donald Trump, tough, effective, and provides peace of mind when you need it the most. So drop by Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast and see what a real safe looks like. So go to Atlanta Safe House.
Little Lindsay Lohan, she's only 39. Oh, she's probably a lot older than that in various activities. And on this day in history, well, I don't want to do that one. Let's do this. Amelia Earhart disappeared with her navigator Frederick Noonan missing in the Pacific, trying to fly around the world, lost their bearings, and New Guinea area and the Tiny Island area. And anyway, she was gone. But let's do that. On this day, 1977, Hollywood composer Bill Conti scores a #1 pop hit with a single, Gonna Fly Now, from the theme from Rocky. Bill Conti was unknown. He was Sylvester Stallone was unknown. Conti did some Italian film stuff. Sylvester Stallone was in Lords of Flatbush, which was like an old B movie. He played just a punk. He had various roles and little things. Rocky launched both men's careers. The collaboration with Conti was huge. He took inspiration from Sylvester Stallone's footage. So Sly had the film's critical training and fight sequences edited specifically to fit the beat of the music, and it made an enormous contribution to the success. Gonna Fly Now came from the lyrics written by Ann Robbins and Teddy Bear, one of the girl members of the group The Teddy Bears, Carol Connors. They lost original best song to Barbra Streisand's Star is Born. But in the years since Rocky, Sylvester Stallone churned out the big flicks. Bill Conti won the Academy Award eventually for Best Score for the 1983 film The Right Stuff. And his big future started with Rocky and Gonna Fly Now. Let's see, 5:52, Kim repeating the Flounder, 40474. What's the matter? What you got?
We got Jeff from Canada.
Canadian Jeff. Hey, Canadian Jeff, how's it going? What's up, eh?
Not much, but I'm just going to finish my beer with that judge thing. We're headed south, okay?
Okay.
And my wife should be my wife, Deb, should be let in for free because it's her birthday on the 4th of July.
Oh, no kidding. Outstanding. You know, there's an old joke. People say, well, does Canada have the 4th of July? And they say, yeah, we also have the 3rd and the 5th and the 6th and every other day of July. You know, because of people's content.
We just had Canada Day on the 1st.
Oh, now what is Canada? That was your founding or your constitution or what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's our founding. We're, 155 years now?
Huh, wow. We've got you by 100 years. That's unbelievable. And now, what's the latest in Canada? How you feeling about Canada? What Canada's doing these days? Are you nervous about things or anything getting better or worse or what?
Oh, it's just getting worse. But there's a big confidence vote in Parliament next week or later this week.
Uh-huh.
And apparently the NDP, because they got devastated in the last election, there's only 7 of them now, so they're not even an official party.
Wow.
But they're apparently going to vote with the Conservatives So all we need is the separatist bloc Quebecois to vote with that, and Carney's government will fall.
Huh. Well,
we'll have to have another election.
Oh, my. Well, listen, have a great celebration of your country and your wife's birthday on 4th of July, our Independence Day. And thanks again for that wonderful Canadian maple syrup and all that Canadian Canadian bacon meat, or whatever we used to call it. Thank you, Jeff. 5:54. Let's see. A quick. Oh, hell, that's not it. Hold on a second. I got my new news story here. Oh, here we go. More scandal for Putty Tat and the CIA and the FBI when James Comey was director, and National Director of Intelligence James Clapper were involved in drafting and completing a chaotic, atypical spy agency assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election to help Donald Trump. It was corrupted. It was done deliberately by John Brennan, James Comey, and James Clapper. Brennan's decision to include the discredited Steele dossier over the objections of senior Russian experts who said it was a bunch of crap all undermined the credibility of that phony assessment in 2016. The review by the CIA, Russian interference conducted by professionals, said the fix was in. They learned their lessons before the presidency ended. Barack Obama ordered the assessment, concluding that Russian President Putin aspired to help Donald Trump win. Multiple procedural anomalies undermine the credibility. They all knew it. Stringent compartmentalization, excessive involvement of agency heads, rushed timeline to publish both classified and unclassified versions. The review by the CIA has now found that Brennan directed the compilation of all this crap, and Clapper and Comey were directly involved in the development of highly unusual in scope and intensity. It was all a bunch of crap. They pushed a fake narrative that Russia secured Donald Trump's win. It was Obama, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan deciding we're going to screw Donald Trump. And that is from the CIA and Ratcliffe saying in an exclusive interview they did it on purpose, classified it so nobody could see what they did. You dirty, rotten, they should all be in freaking prison. They should all be or shot, lined up and shot after being found guilty, of course. God, honest. I mean, it goes deeper than we could have imagined.
What do you think Washington, Jefferson, and Adams would have done if they'd caught? You know what Washington did during the war?
They would have drawn and quartered them. They would have tied a horse and a rope to each arm and leg and had the horses go in 4 different directions. That's drawn and quartering. It goes zoink, your body splits.
Troops hung.
Yeah. Washington hanged his own troops. That's right. In front of everybody to say, here we go.
Is Valley Forge he did that?
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was a turning point. He did. Well, he had to. I mean, oh, God. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, it went so deep. It's just absolutely disgusting. Anyway. I got Flounders Friday coming up, but just a quick thing. Hertz Company got caught doing a little scheme here. Apparently, the Hertz rental car company now has an AI power scanner. So when you bring your car back to Hertz, the AI machine goes over the car and inspects it for little bitty, itty bitty things. One guy here in Atlanta, the trip thing at Atlanta Airport, had the AI thing go around his car, and they found a 1/2 inch scratch in a tire and charged him $440. On the wheel of the car, a 1-inch scratch, $250 to fix it, $125 for processing, and $65 for administration. $440 because an AI machine went around the rental car return and said, "Oh, we got a scratch and it's going to cost you."
Bye Hertz.
See you around Hertz. And more's coming. More are going to do it because who's going to stop them?
Well, okay. Why would you deal with them if you can go get you a Waymo or something?
That's right. Well, again, they're asking for it. But again, they got outed. A guy finally went public. I didn't know about this. And Hertz at Atlanta Airport. At Atlanta.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I didn't know that.
All right, Flounders Funny. One more shot here. I'm sorry, we're almost late. Almost got
to a breakup. People say, what happened? What led to the breakup? Was it a big thing? I don't know. Depends how you look at it. We couldn't agree on the definition of this exit and next exit. I was driving. So she said, okay, get off at the next exit. So I pulled off. Why did you get off here? I just told you to get off at the next exit. I thought we could get off here and buy a dictionary. Look through it.
See what's going on.
Look at words and definitions and such. It's fun to find out word meanings. So I dropped her off at the next exit. Am I understanding it correctly?
Who's that, Fowler?
That is Mr. Brian Reagan.
There we
One
go.
of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, with Brian Reagan. I always forget who that is, and I know his voice. Anyway, Kimber Pete Flounder, Lord Brian. Boys, tomorrow, well, last day before the Independence Day celebration. And Christine, and by the way, Tay-Tay, sing me home, baby, and maybe think about me when you turn out your light. I gotta go, you're killing me. Hoorah, herp and hurt. Look out.
The Kimmer Show is live on your ride home on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta on Dickey Broadcasting Station, Extra 106.3.